And
what
you
is
will
up,
agree with
YouTube?
me that cutting up or breaking the SIM card destroys the SIM card, does it not?
The card itself, yes.
That would have been the purpose in terms of cutting it up or ripping it up, to destroy it, correct?
Well, so nobody else could use the phone.
Well, that was my next question. But
In another phone.
But the purpose of cutting up or ripping up or the SIM card is to destroy the SIM card, is it not?
Yes.
And you wanted to make sure that somebody couldn't put that SIM card in their phone and potentially access your data, correct?
No, that wouldn't be the reason why.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
Teresa.
We already talked about the fact that you testified
Chatty
under
Jen.
oath on June 1st of 2023, correct?
Yes.
And you were under oath when you were testifying on June 1st of 2023, correct?
Yes.
Hey, country
You swore to
girl,
tell the
Mary.
truth.
Yes.
You raised your right hand.
That's correct.
Hey, guys.
And June of 2023, June 1st of
Yes, I
2023,
did.
was about a year ago, correct?
Yes.
It was about a year closer to your throwing your phone away, correct?
Yes.
And in that testimony that you gave in June 1st of 2023,
Hey, little dove.
did you say the
Good to
following?
see you.
Quote, I made sure that somebody couldn't put it in their phone.
Yes, I did say that.
Yeah, I got me some food, guys. Make sure you like the video as you come in. Share it out.
By either cutting up or
Thank you,
ripping up
Kristen.
your SIM card, you also knew that that SIM card couldn't be put back in your phone either, correct?
You get a new SIM card.
Yeah, I believe that would be correct.
And you'll agree with me that you took that destroyed SIM card and put it in a trash bag, did you not?
I believe it went in a trash bag, yes.
Well, you used a passive voice. It
Hope everyone's
went in a
doing great
trash
this
bag.
morning.
Did it fly out of your hand unexpectedly into a trash bag, sir?
No, sir. It would have been disposed of with the phone.
No, I understand, but are you reluctant to say that you put it in a trash bag, sir?
Objection.
Good morning, Tree
Can you
Baby.
answer that? Are you reluctant to say that?
Cass,
No, Your Honor, I put it in a trash bag.
Janine, Miss Kitty,
Or with my
And
trash.
then you also took your phone now without
DJI.
the SIM card, and you put that in the trash bag too, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Then you drove to a military
you,
base
guys.
and you threw both the destroyed SIM card and the phone into a dumpster, did you not?
Well, I was cutting through the base, and I believe how I
Did you
testified
drive to a
was
military base, sir?
I was cutting through a base, yes.
Did you drive to it?
Yes, sir.
And then you put both the
morning,
destroyed SIM
Victoria.
card and
morning,
the
guys.
phone itself, which were in a trash bag.
Amy's
into
number
a dumpster
41.
On that military
Hell yeah.
base, did you not?
I believe that's what I did, yes.
And as you were driving away, you knew that that destroyed SIM card and the phone would be gone forever, correct?
Yes, I threw it away.
Karen
And before you
Reed about to
drove
get
away,
pulled
you did
up.
not transfer anything from your old phone to the new phone, correct?
That's correct.
You lost all of your photos.
Yeah, she
on
liked
that
this
phone,
guy.
Did you not?
Whatever photos I had on there, I did, yes.
You lost
She was
all
trying to
your
cheat on
videos that
John.
phone, did you not?
To the extent if I had any.
You lost all of your other text messages besides the ones that you had with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, correct?
That's correct.
And you knew that you did have text messages on that old phone with Kevin Albert.
He's a friend, most likely.
You also had text messages on your phone with Nicole Albert.
Most likely, yes.
And you had text messages on your phone with Brian Albert.
Yes.
It
Hey,
was
Missy.
important to you
Good morning, guys.
that no one see those
Barb.
text exchanges that you had with those three members of the Albert family.
Objection.
I'll let him have it.
No, sir, that's
Number
not true.
69.
You took no steps to preserve
Morning.
those text messages, did you?
That's correct.
You did not ask your friend Matt Kelch, the agent, to help you extract those text messages, did you?
That's correct.
And when you went to that machine, you did not extract them yourself, did you?
He walked me through it. I did do the extraction.
You did not extract the three strands of text messages.
Thank you,
with
Jackie.
Nicole Albert, Kevin Albert, and Brian Albert to preserve from that machine, did you not?
No, I did not extract those.
So the only place you knew they existed was on your old phone, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
The same phone that you put into a dumpster on a military base with a SIM card removed from the phone and destroyed, correct?
Karen Reed had the hots for this dude.
Well, I did throw the SIM card and the phone on the military base.
Right, and the SIM card was destroyed. You've already testified to
I
that.
said to the extent of if I did that, I would have done that.
And we're talking about the actual phone that would have had your text messages, again, with Brian, Nicole, and Kevin Albert, correct?
Yes, because the motion was denied.
Well, you've already testified, sir, earlier that you never received anything in writing
Karen Reed is
that either
done.
canceled or lifted the initial preservation order, correct?
That is correct.
When that info came out, she was
You
cheating on
knew.
John. Done.
When you were throwing that phone and the destroyed SIM card in the
She
dumpster,
was saying she was single.
that from that day forward, no one would ever be able to access the content of what you
Yeah, they had the
and
hots for each
Brian Albert
other.
had discussed by text messages on your old phone, correct?
She did it. I see
Anybody.
that. ATF. Undercover
Sorry.
ATF.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, I don't think she's walking away from this one.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Allegedly.
If I could take you back just for a moment to January 29th, early in the morning, you're pulling away from the Albert home, correct?
Yes.
You had the plow down on the front of your Jeep Wrangler, is that correct?
Initially, it was still on the ground. Yes.
And about how long distance again was that on the ground before you pulled that up?
Maybe a foot.
And with relation to the curb in front of the area with the
He's more
black
DTF.
line,
He's
how
DTF.
close to the curb were you when you were pulling away from the Albert house?
I believe I looked both ways. There was no vehicles coming in either direction. I pulled out into traffic, and because that's a one-lane road, if there's no other vehicles, I'd be more to the center of that road.
Now, maybe a silly question, but with reference to the front of your Jeep Wrangler, that didn't have any red plastic pieces or
Let me get
anything
comfortable.
like
We're
that
going to
on
be
it,
here a
correct?
bit.
At what time? At what point?
At any time.
No.
And that's the same Jeep Wrangler that you then drove to the Canton Police Station immediately after?
Directly from there, yes.
And then you drove that same Jeep Wrangler back to your home in West Roxbury?
Yes.
And then you drove that same Jeep Wrangler back to Fairview Road later on that morning?
Yes.
And then you drove that same Jeep Wrangler from Fairview Road to the Canton Police Station again later that morning, correct?
Yes.
Hey, Jackie.
Now, the text communications between yourself and Ms. Reed, again, who initiated?
You
those?
know she's going to
The
prison.
defendant did
And that was on January 12th, 2022, correct?
about 8:23 in the evening, I believe.
Now, with reference
OG
to
Nanny.
that, what she claimed happened in Aruba, that was something that she mentioned to you via text, correct?
The incident itself, I believe, was through text, but I believe the actual location was when she had stopped by my place in West Roxbury.
But so that's to my point. So, sir, with regard to the incident itself, she referenced that both via text and in person to you as well.
Yes, that's correct.
I think so
And,
too,
the
Daly.
kiss, that she planted on you in the garage at Mr. O'Keefe's house. That was again something that she mentioned both in text and verbally in person. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Allegedly. Thank you, Pam, for being a member for 2 months.
Now, as far as the ghosting that you were asked questions about last Friday, there were some text messages between you and the defendant on January 19th, correct?
What was the date? I'm sorry.
January 9th.
19th?
Yes.
Yes.
And do you recall if there were any text messages between you going either way, between yourself and the defendant between January 19th and January 23rd?
I think there were not 100%.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Julie, thank you. You guys share this out. Share it out. Like the video.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as
And she
Exhibit 1.
texted him right after he died and said, John's dead. She was ready to hook up the day she ran him over. My peanut butter and jelly. Thank you, Penny.
Direct your attention to the back there, specifically the back page, but a little bit before that. If you could just let me know whether or not there's any text messages between yourself and the defendant, Ms. Reed, between January 19th.
Thank you, Crazy.
3rd.
Yes. Looks
Two
like the
times
19th and the
ran him
23rd,
over.
both text messages.
But in between those dates, and what I'm asking about is January 20th, January 21st, January 22nd. There's no text messages on any of
Thank
those
you,
dates,
Matt.
correct?
I don't see any.
And then as far as between January 23rd and January 28th.
Did my notifications go
January 28th
out?
Is when you texted her while you
Did anybody get a notification?
Correct.
On the 28th, yes.
So between the 23rd and the 28th, so on January 24th, January 25th, January 26th, January 27th, you didn't send any text messages to her. You didn't receive any from her, correct?
I don't
Okay,
believe so, no.
cool. All right, I was just wondering if it
Beyond
went
that one
out.
text message that you testified to on the 28th. The
Hey,
next
Billy.
text message you received from the defendant was in regard to John being dead on the 29th, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, you asked some questions about these text messages and whether or not you discussed them with various people. Did you discuss those text messages with anyone?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And why not, sir?
To be honest with you, I mean, on a personal level,
Good morning, Renee.
I kind of keep things to myself. I was a little embarrassed. Wasn't really proud of him. Kind of maybe didn't show me in a good light with respects that I was John's friend.
And so with regard to that text on January 28th that you had sent her in the waterfall, she didn't respond as she was in the waterfall with her boyfriend, Mr. O'Keefe, correct?
That's correct.
Hold on.
Now, if the defendant did not have a boyfriend, wasn't dating Mr. O'Keefe, would you have been
There we go.
interested in pursuing anything further with the defendant?
Yeah, he would have.
I can't say. I don't know.
What, if any, reservations would you have based on the conversations that you had?
Just everything was so out of left field. I just found it hard to believe.
Number 125. Thank you, Mary. You know he would have hooked up.
Now,
Karen
with
told him
reference
the
to
day he
going
died,
to the
John
Fairview
died.
station
He's
after
dead.
Fairview Road and moving the vehicles around, which is closer to the Canton Police Station? Your home in West Roxbury or the home on Fairview Road?
The home on Fairview Road would be.
And with the impending weather, why was it that you went to the Canton Police Station to move the vehicles around on that occasion?
Because as I stated before, if I didn't do it then, I would have had to come back in the morning. And I knew the weather was going to be getting worse. I knew that I had a long day. I had been in New York. I had been out the night before in New York, and I just thought it was best to get them moved at that point.
Now, you were asked some questions on Friday about a phone call or something in a call log from about 2 o'clock or 2:22 in the morning of January 29th. Do you recall that?
I recall the questions, yes.
And you have an iPhone, or you had an iPhone, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you make a call on an iPhone, as
Boy,
you
the
sort of
barber.
place that call, you hit the button, there's sort of a timer that comes up and it starts counting off seconds as the call is being connected, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'll allow it. Oh, I'll allow it.
And so
Cool,
seconds are
Michael.
ticking off while the call is being connected, correct?
I believe so,
And
yes.
if a call is connected, then it starts ringing, and unless someone picks up immediately, there are further seconds that are ticking off on an iPhone while that call is ringing through, correct?
I believe so.
The objection sustained is to the phone.
You were asked some questions about a call or a call back between yourself and Brian Albert around that time frame. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you were trying to explain sort of what your answers were in that prior proceeding in reference to them, correct?
Yes.
What, if anything else, did you want to explain to the jury in regard to that?
Objection.
In that form, I'll sustain.
You were asked some specific points as far as your testimony in the prior proceeding, correct?
Yes.
What, if anything else, did you say in reference to that in the prior proceeding?
I think so. Yes.
Sustain as to
Joey?
the form, Mr. Lawler.
Did you ever speak with Brian Albert at 2:22 in the morning on January 29th?
No, I did not.
Do you recall making a call or receiving a call from Brian Albert around that time?
No, I do not.
She was trying to hook up the day she found him. He didn't text her back.
You were asked some questions on Friday regarding key card access within the Canton Police Station, correct?
Yes.
Now, as far as that door that you utilized, you would testify on Friday that you would sort of park down towards the back and then come into the Sallyport area. Is that correct?
So I believe I was referring to one of the two Sallyport doors.
And that was sort of your cut through in order to get to your office.
Yes.
Now, with reference to that particular area, as far as going in and out from the parking lot of the Sallyport, does the key card, you have to swipe a key card in order to go in and to go out?
Hello.
So
Chief
sometimes if
Junkie.
you're close to the door, maybe having a conversation with somebody, it could activate the key card itself. But physically, if I'm going into the door, I would take it out and I would swipe it. I would hold it to the card reader. Some are more sensitive than others, is what I'm trying to say.
And similar to when you're going in, when you're going out, does that require sort of
Good morning,
swiping or
Nick.
using the key card in order to go outside?
So there are some doors that you need to swipe out of, and I believe the booking room and the Sallyport itself are of doors such as those.
May I approach?
Yes.
Okay.
If you could just take a look at that and look up when you're finished. You recognize that, sir?
Yes.
Is that the same document that was essentially the same document that was placed before you on Friday?
Yes.
And that's a 167-page document encapsulating different key swipes within the Canton Police Station on January 29th, 2022, correct?
Yes.
And from those 167 pages, at least on that first page, does there appear to be about 27 entries there?
Yes.
And so from 27 entries over a course of 167 pages, that'd be somewhere north of 4,500 entries within those 167 pages. Does that sound right?
Well, I went to public high school, but I'll take your word for it.
Would it surprise you that there are 18 entries within those 4,500?
So not what would surprise him. Ask the question differently, Mr. Lawler.
You know that there are 18 entries that contain your name within those records?
Objection. Form of the question.
No, I'll allow that.
Are you asking
Allow
me
it.
if in the 167 pages, there's only 18 entries with me?
Yes.
I did not know that, no.
Would that surprise you as far as your, well, let me rephrase that. Now, with respect to your travels around Canton Police Station on that particular day, would you quarrel with 18 entries as far as where you went and what you did in Canton PD that day?
No, in and out, nope.
Now, sir, with respect to your phone, you were provided notification in regard to a preservation order in regard to your phone sometime in September of 2022, correct?
I received a subpoena on September 30th, 2022.
And that was in regard to a hearing at which counsel for the defendant was seeking your physical phone as evidence, correct?
Yes.
And is it your understanding, or were you informed after that?
Good morning, Ashley.
Sometime in early October of 2022 that motion had been denied.
So I believe it was October 21st of that year, I was made aware that
She
that
was a
was
hoe.
denied on actually October 5th.
Are
Hey,
you aware of
Granny.
a 30-day period by which a defendant has to file some sort of notice of appeal of a motion?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
I know typically there's appeal periods. In this particular sense, I wasn't familiar with the preservation order itself. What a preservation order was with respects to, that was kind of all new to me. Usually in an investigation that I'm conducting,
Hey,
it's a
Marcia.
search warrant, I take the phone. I don't ask people to preserve it through a court order, if that makes sense.
And so when was it that you disposed of your phone?
It was about 2 months after that,
And why was it that you disposed of the phone?
because it was beaten, it was broken up, and I had already had a new phone, and this only explanation is I threw it away. That's it.
Now, beyond.
You hit him
this
before
case,
when it
what, if
first
anything
started
else,
snowing.
was going on with reference to your personal phone that led you to want to get rid of it?
So in July of 2022, I had a target of an investigation I was working who alleged that he called me on my personal cell phone. And when I questioned him as to the fact how he obtained my personal telephone number, he told me that his girlfriend had obtained it off of open source internet, which I later confirmed that number was out there.
What, if any, concerns did that raise for you, sir?
Well, I had a lot of concerns, and so July of 22 is when I probably started thinking about, you know what, I got to get rid of the telephone number itself.
And a lot of the work that you were doing, at least at that time, was undercover work. Is that correct?
Before this case right here, yes.
Now, as far as the SIM
He
card.
can't be undercover no more. He didn't get
do you have
fired,
any
though.
Specific memory of doing anything with that SIM card?
No, and that's how I testified in that other hearing, that to the extent of what I would have done is I would have cut it up or broke it. And the concern would be that to my understanding, that's not holding any photos, that's not holding videos, that's not holding my contacts, it's holding phone information itself.
He does have a red
As far as
face.
photos or videos or what, if anything, like that, did you even have one?
I didn't have much in the sense that I'm divorced. I don't have kids. I didn't have the typical memories that somebody would have had on their phone that they wanted to preserve. They were more like the text messages with the defendant where it would be a drink glass at a bar,
When you're nervous.
food, something along those lines. I had more of a connection to my work phone and more of a value to my work phone than I did my personal phone.
Now, as far as that military base down the Cape,
Hey, April.
how often,
Good morning.
let me ask you this, when you lived at the residence in Barnstable County, what would you do with your trash down there?
Well, if I was going through.
Yeah, if you're just
and I
tuning
had
in,
trash or
guys,
some
this is Brian
recycling,
Higgins.
and I was either getting gas on the base or hitting the duty free, I would occasionally toss a bag of trash in one of the dumpsters there. Or if I forgot, I would throw it out when I
Jax,
got
thank
back to my
you.
other property.
Dollar
And at the
Train,
time,
baby.
at one point, I was living in Canton, and I had the house there, and then I sold it, and then I had the in-law I was renting, so I had other options to throw things away.
Did you have trash?
This
pickup
was
at
the
your
guy that
residence?
Karen Reed was trying to get
No.
up with.
So if you were to throw away anything.
Cheat on John
with
with.
trash, it would have to be either at the base or at one of your other homes.
It would be somewhere else.
And so with reference to the phone and the SIM card, if you even did you drive specifically to the base to throw your phone away, or were you throwing it away with other trash?
It was just with other trash.
Good morning, Wanda.
You were shown some call logs or some toll records or something to that effect last Friday with respect to calls that you had made or received around January 29th, 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
And was that anything that you had specifically preserved and given to the troopers, or that was something that someone was able to obtain even without your phone or without your SIM card, correct?
He can't be
That's
charged.
correct.
He didn't do nothing. Karen Reed ran him over.
Yes.
He got rid of the phone because he was undercover and somebody had the number.
One moment, Sean.
Yes.
Good morning, sarcasm. Hey, Rosemary.
Well, sir, going back to
Angelina,
January 29th,
allegedly.
away from the residence on Fairview Road, you didn't see anything on the side of the road, is that correct?
Absolutely not. No.
And what is it that you would have done had you seen anything, or had you seen Mr. O'Keefe on the side of the road on January 29th?
I've spent my whole life between being a firefighter, working in the profession that I work now, being a tactical medic. If I had saw John O'Keefe on the side of the road, I would have done something to make a difference.
I don't know how to fix the closed caption.
Yes. Jurors, feel free to stand up and stretch.
Okay, so they're taking a stretch break now. But yeah, this is Brian Higgins. You know, Karen Reed was trying to hook up with this man. Why, you know, as soon as she found John dead, she texted him at 11 a.m. and said, John's dead. So, and she was telling this man she was single, that she didn't like the kids. She was having to take care of the kids. Once it got to this part about the kids, she's done. All these people out here supporting Karen Reed when she was a cheater, a liar, a manipulator. She was shitty to the kids. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself, right? These people out here booing John O'Keefe's family and stuff like that. Shame on you guys. Shame on you guys. This lady's going to burn in jail. And then when she does, Dolly's going to be there right there in Boston live to laugh at you guys. Okay. Just know it. I'm making a special trip for this one. I'll have my Kool-Aid stand set up. I'll be ready to rock and roll. Laugh. And when y'all walking away crying, when y'all walking, she'll get a pill. She'll get a pill. Dolly's going to be standing there laughing his ass off, being like, I told you so. Cheating ass lady, right? She was ready to hook up with that man the day he was found dead. Make that make good sense, right? What a piece of trash. What a piece of, go ahead and cuff her up, get her up out of here. They're tying up the court system with this hag. Now listen, second degree murder, that's a hard sell because there's no way to prove she purposely did it. But you see, she was trying to have an affair. She didn't want to be with John. She was trying to find a way out, and she found it.
Sir, you testified that a prime motivator of you to get rid of your phone was a July 22nd call from a target of an investigation that you were working on?
Yeah, she thinks the dude's hot.
I never said it was a prime motivator.
Was it a prime motivator?
No, what I testified to was the phone number was what I was concerned about primarily.
Heaven says
Didn't have
John
anything
was
to do with
hotter.
the phone.
You did not change your phone number on July 22nd, correct?
July of 2022. Is that what you mean?
The date that you received a call supposedly from a target of an investigation you were working on was
No,
July
Jennifer.
22nd of
Just
which
when I'm
year?
available.
So it was, I believe it was July 25th to 2022.
July
I was so
25th.
concerned that I reported it to my supervisor.
Right.
Right,
Exactly,
but you
Pooh
did
Bear.
not change your phone number after that for quite a while, correct?
I believe it was September.
So for those months, you kept the same phone number and kept the same phone, correct?
I did.
And September happened to be the month that you received the preservation order from this court, correct?
September of 22, yes.
Right. Now,
When them kids take the stand, she's
with
done.
regard to the text exchanges that
Hi,
you
Carol.
had with Karen Reed, you
Yeah, she was
testified
complaining about them kids.
that you were embarrassed about them?
I wasn't proud of him.
I think your word was embarrassed, correct?
I can agree to that. That's fair.
Well, you already testified to that, right?
I believe that
About
might have
5
been
minutes ago?
a word I used. Yes.
I mean, I've already had
And
some words
you
with Karen,
also
Karen Reed.
explained that you would keep things like that to yourself, correct?
That could be something. Yes.
I told her how good she would look in orange.
However, you would also agree with me that while they were going on,
Good morning,
you told
Jane.
your boss about that text.
Thank you for the
exchange,
super chat.
Correct?
Well, I
Save your
told
money.
her about the kiss.
You're going to need it.
Do you deny telling your boss about the texting that you were doing with Karen Reed?
I don't know if I specifically recall that. No.
But you don't deny it, sir, correct?
It's possible that I told her about that. I'm not going to deny it.
All right. And in any case, those
Well, orange
text
sucks,
exchanges
right?
were preserved. You preserved.
Good morning, guys, if you're
those
just
before
tuning in.
disposing of your phone, correct?
Correct.
And with regard to the other text exchanges that you did not preserve with the Alberts, including Brian Albert, are you familiar with
No.
the term consciousness of
She was
guilt?
trying.
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection sustained.
I may have a moment.
Yes.
They were just flirting through text. Karen Reed is done. Boy, she's so done after this. Good morning, Dolly. Good morning.
Just one more thing. With regard to
She was playing up.
the date
Yep.
that you changed phone numbers on your phone, you would agree with me that was
Hey, woman.
September 29th of 2022?
When I actually changed the phone number?
That's what I just asked.
Yeah. Yes. I also got a new phone. Yes.
Okay. September 29th of 2022, you changed your phone number and got a new phone. And then September 30th, the next day, you were served with the preservation order, correct?
I got the preservation order on the 30th. That's correct.
Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Higgins, you are all set, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, she was trying to hook up with this dude.
All right.
And
Ms.
then when
Tarly,
she
who's
told him
next?
John was dead, he never
Sure.
texted her back. So now I go, okay, I guess they're going to approach the bench. But look, them eyes don't lie. She only has a couple more weeks of this shit, and her ass is going to prison. Of course, she will appeal it on some craziness, but she's done. Like that jury to paint a conspiracy like this, that everybody would have to be involved, everybody but her. Okay. Who is she looking at? Who knows what she's looking at? She has the craziest eyes ever. She looks good in blue. She's going to look even better in orange. I think she knows, and she hated the kids. Why date a man that takes care of children? Well, I mean, there's a lot of men out here that have children, If you don't want to be with the man, don't get up with him. You have an option. If you want to be a cheater, break up. All she had to do was tell John, hey, John, we're not married. I don't want to be with
Liz,
you.
we're going to take a 10-minute recess.
You are unmuted.
Okay, 10-minute recess. Oh, she kissed him at John's house. Choo choo. Choo choo. Well, cops do gang up and can conspire. Yeah, but not in this case. This lady's a cheating hoe, right? That ran over her boyfriend and didn't like the kids. You're going down, woman. You're going down. All right. I'm going to be out there live in Boston to laugh at all y'all turtle riders. I promise you that.
All right. So, Mr.
I'm going to have
Lally,
my
your next
Kool-Aid
witness is a
stand set
juvenile.
up, baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So there's a specific media order that there'll be no transmission of this testimony. And by agreement of the parties, the child witness will be sitting in the courtroom, in the witness stand.
Oh, they bringing in the
when jury
kids
comes
now.
back in.
She
That's
is
by agreement, Mr.
done.
Yannetti.
All right. When these kids hit the
Okay.
stand,
All right.
she
So
is
10 o'clock
done.
or so we'll come back out.
Football rise.
All rise. All right, this is moving along a little faster than I thought. So, she'll be in prison before long. And that's a good thing, right? Now, I truly thought she would get away with this. I honestly did. But I think once these kids speak and the jury hears these kids, she's done. Now, let me tell you this. I covered the Cody Bigsby case, Corey Bigsby. He would have got away with it. There was really no evidence against him. Really none. The kid came out and spoke. They brought in this 7-year-old. He came out and spoke. You could see the tears fill the jury's eyes. Okay. And then his lawyer came out there saying, look, don't try this man on emotion. They want you to convict him. They want you to convict Corey on emotion. And I knew then, I was like, that was that jury was out 30 minutes. 30 minutes after that kid spoke. 30 minutes. Guilty as hell. Okay. No body, no evidence. Just the kid said, I seen my little brother dead. That was it. Convicted. When these kids get out here and they start speaking on this lady that, they heard them fighting and John told her he didn't want to be with her, then why didn't she break up with John? She wanted both, right? Because John was already telling her he didn't want to be in the relationship no more. So why not just break up on him and hook up with this Brian Higgins guy? She was already hooking up the replacement. So why did she put the man through that? And then we get to the fact that, why would these police kill this man? Why would they kill him? No motive, no reasoning. These people, listen, this is what these crazy ass people in Boston told me. They told me that they killed John O'Keefe because the police are selling steroids to the football team. These people out there, free Karen Reed people, believe the police are selling steroids to the football team. All right. They got their pink on. I love you, Karen. She's the greatest. She's a cheat. She's a liar. She was terrible to this man's kids. And y'all still support this woman, which I don't understand, right? And people think it's a lot of people that support this woman out there. There's not. I've been out there live personally. Hold on. Producer's calling. Hello. Okay. So they can't televise the kids. Uh-huh. Are they going to share the audio? Oh, okay. So we're just going to be sitting here watching a blank screen for. Well, send me an update on the Karen Reed stuff and I'll play it while we're waiting. Like something from Court TV or something. Okay, send it to me. We'll get that up and going while we're waiting on this. All right, bye. Okay, guys. So what I'm hearing now is there's going to be no testimony we're going to be able to hear from these kids. That Court TV will go back live after these kids testify, which I'm thinking it ain't going to take too long for the kid. They ain't going to get up there and drill a bunch of little kids. Okay. So they're going to get up there, ask them a few questions, and it should be pretty quickly. I'm hoping. We are going to pull up some stuff on the Karen Reed stuff while we're waiting on this. All right. Give me a second. Let me sign into this real fast. I didn't plan on covering this morning, but since I'm up, I might as well. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a young man who has went missing. Let me get his information too while I'm here. I want to give y'all guys this information. Ben Patrick, okay? Ben Patrick is his name, and he has went missing from the same place that Riley Strand had went missing. Okay, so we got another young man, Nashville. He went missing on 5/26 around 4:30 p.m. He was last seen on Wesley Avenue, Capitol View in Nashville, Tennessee. So he is 5'3", 125 pounds, and he is 35 years old. Okay, I must have read that wrong the first time I read it. So he is 35 years old. He has went missing from the same location as Riley Strand. So they're out searching for this man now. Let me see if I can show you a picture real quick of who he is. Let me blow myself up on the screen right quick so y'all can see this. It's hard to see. I will post it on my community wall. My camera's kind of out of focus, but that is the young, well, he's 35 years old. I must have read it, wrong the first time I read it. 35 years old. He's went missing in the same location pretty much as Riley Strand did, right around that exact same area. So maybe we'll have to take a little look for this guy while we're out there in Nashville, because we leave for Nashville here shortly for CrimeCon 2024 in Nashville. So we're going to be down there doing, I guess there's going to be a lot of stuff going on while we're in Nashville. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. This is the only recent stuff. All right. Let's pull.
Guess what, folks? Tonight,
Then,
Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson has returned to the scene where John O'Keefe's body was discovered. He's in the neighborhood right now. Matt, great to see you. So you're in the neighborhood now, but you're not on the street yet.
Yeah, we're not on the street. We're approaching the street when they left the Waterfall Bar, when we're talking about.
okay. He was sitting right in front of me at Adam Montgomery, this correspondent here for Court TV. He was sitting directly in front of me.
Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. When they're in their SUV, let's approach the street over here. I'm with Austin Brady as we're making our way as part of this investigation. So this is Cedar Crest that we're looking in front of right now. I'm going to put my turn signal on and we're going to approach Fairview Road. Remember, this would have been completely pitch black.
It covered in snow.
Snowstorm, and an epic one early in the hours.
Also, I never shared the video, but I have a video of me at the house. I take a walk by, show you where they found them, all that. I never actually aired that video. I will probably I might air it later today.
That morning. And
All right, slow
the
down.
windshield wipers
Slow
would have
down.
been on. Okay.
Slow down.
Here's the intersection, Vinny. Yeah.
This- Okay, here we go. Beautiful. So now, are you on Fairview yet?
So this is that intersection, and I know you've been here. So this is Cedar Crest, and then this is Fairview. So just about a couple yards away, that's 34 Fairview. Let's take you over there. So
Okay,
this is
make that
the
turn.
route that Karen Reed took. All right.
Make that turn. And again,
It's right up
it's
here on
light
the
out, so
right.
it's nice we can see, but it's really about the field of vision as well as you're looking from the car. So what are you noticing as you're
And Vinny,
approaching
we
the
are
house?
Right here.
So
This
we're
is the
approaching
house.
the house. It's at a grade of a curve. Here's 34 Fairview. I'm turned in front of the house right now, and this is actually in front of the mailbox. So this is the position of the house in front of the mailbox. You can see the two entry doors that are constantly being talked about by these witnesses on the stand. Down the road, it turns. So anyone that was approaching from that direction, they're not going to see the front yard that much. And remember, we just made that other turn. So this is in the center of two turns. And
There's
it goes
no fire
up, down. It's
extinguisher.
about a hilly neighborhood.
Not
It
fire
is hilly.
extinguisher, I mean fire
And
hydrant.
so if you're driving through here in the dark and in the snow, you might not see much.
Let me do this. Stay where you are. Don't move. Have Austin show us the front again. I want the viewers to see out the front windshield, not the side, but the front windshield where John O'Keefe's body would have been. So if someone is getting into a car or leaving,
And right over here.
that looks pretty close to me. How does it look to you? Like when
Right
you look
there.
straight ahead, how close does it look?
Thank you, Rita R.
Yeah, these are huge
Right there.
houses as they appear on TV, but the yards are very small and it's a very dense neighborhood. You can see the flagpole is only about 7-8 feet away from where the street starts. There is no sidewalk. And you can see that from any direction that you're at in front of this house. I'm going to back up. There's no one behind me. I'm backing up to the neighbor's home. So if someone was approaching this house to pick somebody up, this
Court TV out there creeping like a YouTuber, ain't they? That's what it reminds me of. This is the same shit I was doing when I was there. All right. So yes, I did go by the home at 34 Fairview. There's a new family that lives there. Of course, the house was sold. I'm sure they don't want to be harassed by a bunch of YouTubers and stuff like that. But there's been a lot of people. Jennifer Coffendorfer went up to their door, and I guess the Ring doorbell camera seen her, and she ran. Anybody see that video?
This is what they would be seeing as they're approaching the mailbox that we've heard about and the driveway where a lot of these witnesses were also parked. And still, you can see where John O'Keefe's body was in front of that flagpole from any direction over
It
here.
was right up here.
Absolutely. Like, as you get up to that
Right
mailbox and pull up, it just seems there's not even much of a grade, is there? There's a slight going down grade on the side where his body was found. But my goodness, like I see the flagpole's very clear, the fire hydrant and the white, is that the box that they're talking about? That white
Yep,
thing
he was
sticking up
right
in the middle
here.
there?
Exactly. That's the box that a lot of witnesses have described as something being weird metal sticking out of the ground, because remember, this was all covered in thick snow. But from this vantage point, I mean, you can see neighbors' windows from over here. That's very interesting. There is a lot of people's homes across the street. It's a very dense neighborhood, but from this flagpole and where John O'Keefe's body was, I mean, look at how close it is to this yard. And also that is the gate where the defense showed a video from the basement doors. They lift up, they're on the side of the house. You can walk through that gate and walk right over here to the flagpole.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pause this for 1 second because I want to share this video from Nerdy Attic. This one right here is Miss Jennifer Coffendorfer, former FBI agent. She walks up to the house at Fairview. Okay, she walks up to the house and she realizes that they have cameras. She's out there videotaping all up in the people's yard and driveway. And then she realizes that she's on tape. And watch what she does. This is almost too funny. All right, let me kill that music. Hold on. Let's mute that so I don't get no copyright strikes because he's playing creep. So they're playing creep behind it. I'm a weirdo. This is too funny. I mean, all right, let me play it. Here she is. She's videotaping. She's walking up to the front door. She realizes she's been seen. Boom. Gone. Right. Former FBI agent on the run. All right. Let's watch FBI run. Well, former FBI agent. I don't know exactly how long she worked for the FBI. I'm sure they didn't keep her ass too long because she ain't very FBI-ish. All right. Let's get back to this.
As I'm looking at this from the car, and I was there as well, but now after listening to all the testimony and all the people that didn't see anything, to me, I'm surprised. Like, obviously it's possible, but I'm just surprised because you would have.
She ran like she stole something. Right? You ever seen the FBI run? You ever seen the FBI running? Now we have, okay? Now, you would think the FBI is a little more intimidating than that, but
have a slight contrast if you had a dusting of snow and you had someone.
You know what that's called? That's called trespassing there, Mrs. Coffendorfer. You know, but there's no signs, but basically you're in their yard. You could have did that from the street. You went right up to their house.
Dressed in clothes. So can you do this now? Can you pull away slowly and see how quickly that disappears? Go down the road just a little bit, and then I want you to.
And we were supposed to have Jennifer Coffendorfer up here, but she didn't like my thumbnail because it was similar to the me touching the mullet one. And she was like, could you change the thumbnail? And she was going to come up here and be a guest. And then she started acting weird. And I told PJ, I was like, I ain't even sweating that. You know what I'm saying? So she's already she's worried about thumbnails when she's out here running. You know what I'm saying? Hey, lady, I wouldn't be worried about the thumbnails. I'd be worried about your behavior.
To make a turn when you can safely, so we can sort of retrace Karen Reed's
like
trip that morning with Jennifer McCabe and Kerry Robertson. So why don't we pull away slowly and tell me what you're seeing? We got to put those letters down, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a car to pass, and then now we can go. So now we're approaching where you hear a lot of witnesses talking about the fire hydrant. So this is the property line, and Austin's going to show you from this direction the house, which is to his back. See, you can see a little bit of perspective right there. So now I'm going to continue to pull away. And now the road starts sloping.
So
the house was pretty much even grade. But now the road starts sloping. There's a dead end street over here to my left. That's where we're going to turn around. And you can see that it's a windy neighborhood. So that could be an issue when we hear about the plow driver's testimony.
Exactly.
Which we're waiting to hear.
So now this is the approach the morning that the three women, including Karen Reed, who's in the back middle seat, make that approach. And here we are already. So the question is, what are you going to see as you approach the house and the flagpole and everything else that'll be coming up on the left-hand side?
Vinny, I could have sent you
what are your thoughts about what you're
house.
seeing as you're driving?
So I'm noticing that it was a grade up. And I'm also noticing that you can't really see the house if those trees are right there. But again, it would have been in the winter time. How
about where John O'Keefe's body was? How about where his body was? Is that more difficult because of the curve, or is it easier?
You can see the flagpole as soon as you pass the curve on the street and you're approaching in this direction towards Cedar Crest.
All right, let me show you.
Clear as day, you can see it.
I haven't uploaded it yet, but this is me at their house, 74 Fairview. You can't really see it. I'll upload it later.
But again, if the plow had been here before Karen Reed, Kerry Roberts, and Jen McCabe would have approached the house, maybe they couldn't see past the snow. The two women that were in the front seat, and Karen Reed, you know, she starts, according to them in their testimony, she starts screaming and kicking in the back seat, saying, let me out, he's over here. And then she just runs over here and rips up his shirt, takes up her shirt, and lays on top of him. And then Kerry Roberts, you know, her testimony, she wipes away the snow from his face, and then she says that it was grass underneath him.
So he had been laying there the next day. Obviously, much more snow. There'll be much more snow that following morning as they approach this area. But coming around that curve, to me, it's not quite as open and obvious as coming from the other direction.
Yes, because the other direction, you're coming from an uphill, slightly down, and it's more level and home. And then the rest of the neighborhood goes downhill, and there are curves downhill. So there's twists and turns on both sides of where this home is located, the former Albert home, for many generations, we might add. But yeah, this is where we are.
This is fascinating. Now, there are no street lights anywhere, right? That you've seen?
I'm noticing there is a street light, yes. So there is a street light directly in front of 34 Fairview that Austin is showing you right there. But I'm not sure how much light it gives and if it was on that night. I mean, this was during a blizzard. There was a lot going on. But there is a light right in front of this house. And there's also a lot of lights at the home on their porch. They have porch lights. But again, I don't know if they would have been on that night.
They didn't come on till, well, we don't know if they were on that night, right? But the following morning, it took a while for them to come on. But I don't think they're going to illuminate that part at all because you're not in front of the house. You're sort of to the side. So, Matt, what's your final analysis taking this drive? And obviously, it's not dark, it's not snowing, which makes it, I guess, very different from us to a certain extent. But the road is the road. As you're driving, do you see that area as you drive, or if you're driving and you're looking, are you more focused on the road as you just did this drive?
I think that you would be more focused on the road if it was snowing, because there are turns and a lot of these people didn't know exactly where this house was. There's that part of it. But I can't get past the fact that where John O'Keefe lay dying on the front of the yard here, you can see it from every direction as you approach this house. You can definitely see it. And I mean, that's burned in my mind at this point.
Matt Johnson returning to the scene tonight.
Okay, well, okay.
Karen Reed and her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, were bar hopping on a snowy night in Massachusetts. At the end of the night, they were invited to a house party at the home of a fellow officer in Canton, Massachusetts. When Karen and John arrived, Karen did not exit the car. John did. From that point forward, there are two very different versions of what happened. Prosecutors say Karen was mad at John and purposely struck him with her car and left him on the ground to die in the snow. But Karen and her defense team say John went to the party. Something terrible happened inside the house, and his body was placed outside, where he was found dead the next morning. Karen has been charged with murder, but claims she is the victim of a big cover-up by police. Prosecutors insist Karen Reed is a murderer, while she insists it was someone inside the house that night who was responsible for what happened to her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. And now another twist, a federal investigation into the way police handled this case. Tonight, we look at that federal investigation of the investigators and how it will impact this upcoming murder trial. And we'll look at the crucial piece of evidence that Karen Reed's supporters say proves her innocence as we investigate the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
She did it.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This story, unlike any we have covered in many, many years. I want to start tonight, though, talking about a case that we didn't cover here on Court TV because it happened back in the 1920s.
Thank you, Hotspot.
The case.
Thank you, Hotspot. That's awesome of you. Allegedly at Dolly.
Case of Sacco and Vanzetti, two guys who claimed that we were framed for murder. These two guys were accused of an armed robbery turned into a murder. They were tried in the courtroom. They were literally put in cages as the evidence was presented. But from the beginning, they claimed they were innocent and they were being framed for what happened. You see, they were very unpopular because of their political beliefs. And in the end, they were convicted. They were executed. But 50 years after that execution, the governor of Massachusetts made a proclamation saying these two were tried unfairly. They didn't get a fair shake inside of the courtroom where they were tried, and proclaimed.
Well, Karen Reed's getting a fair shake. You know, nobody made her be a cheater, right? You know, the man wasn't even in the ground yet, and she's already trying to get Brian Higgins to come bang her, you know, allegedly.
Them innocent men, Sacco and Vanzetti, an extremely famous and notorious case that divided the public. That trial was in Dedham, Massachusetts. Now, in the same courthouse, in the same courtroom, Karen Reed is saying, I was framed.
She definitely won't frame.
And this case, too, dividing the community in Massachusetts. And now that this thing has struck with people across the country through podcasts, through this program, through what has happened inside and outside of that courtroom, and the bloggers and everyone else involved in this, has divided the community.
Yeah, but that shows the motive, that she didn't care about John O'Keefe like she said she did, right? to be fair, it ain't against the law to be a cheat. All right. It's not against the law to be a cheat, but it does show your character. If she was lying to him, then how do we know she's trustworthy in the court? That she's going to tell, she's telling the truth. I think she's done. Right. And make sure if you're in Boston, you stop by and you grab some Kool-Aid from me when I'm up there. I'll have my little Kool-Aid stand set up on the block next to the courthouse. So make sure you stop by and get some Dolly Kool-Aid if you're in that area.
Community around the country as to what really happened in this case. Now, when a criminal defendant claims that I was framed, you know me, I'm a former prosecutor. That's the filter that I analyze everything through. I take it with a huge grain of salt. But this case is a little different. There's something else going on here, literally going on. The FBI and the Department of Justice is investigating the investigators.
Yeah, we learned now that he really ain't got nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with this case, with them allegedly killing John O'Keefe. They're running with a crazy conspiracy here. That's it.
While this case is still pending, there's an investigation on how this case was handled by police. And the entire case for the defense is that the police didn't handle this case. Police took evidence, moved it around, and framed and then covered up what really happened. Framed Karen Reed and then covered up the truth in all of this. That's what they're alleging. So in this case, there will be a search for the truth inside that courthouse in Dedham, Massachusetts, where Sacco and Vanzetti were tried, and now where Karen Reed will be tried. But it'll be a search for the truth not only of what happened to Boston officer John O'Keefe, but also a search for the truth of how this case was handled by the investigators. And today, another big hearing, and we heard something that I think for the first time, like we heard
what are you
bits and
supposed to
pieces
put
about this
Snow
federal
in?
investigation. But I want you to take a listen to David Yannetti, who is, you'll hear his voice. He wasn't in the courtroom, but was appearing via Zoom in this hearing in the Karen Reed case, and gave the world, the judge and the rest of the world, an update on that federal investigation.
How are you supposed to collect snow? What do you collect snow in? Okay. Do you think the police drive around with some super special containers to put snow in? I don't know. If you're picking up blood samples and things like that, and you put it in a cup, it's still going to be in that cup when you get, as long as the top of the cup's sealed.
Of the investigators. Take a listen.
On that score, something very important has come to light just yesterday that directly bears on this issue. The Norfolk DA's office and the Karen Reed defense team participated in a conference call yesterday with a representative from the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S.
Karen looked crazy as shit. Her eyes always look crazy. She always looks like she's somewhere else.
U.S. Attorney confirmed during that conference call, confirmed for both parties, that not only has there been a federal investigation of this case, but it is ongoing. It's not over. It continues. The DA had this confirmed for them just yesterday, right from the horse's mouth.
The investigation is taking place now. As Karen Reed is getting ready for trial on these murder charges, the feds are taking a look at the people who investigated the case and gathered the evidence that will be used against Karen Reed. This doesn't happen, folks. This is extremely unusual. Let's bring in Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson, who is outside the Norfolk County Superior Courthouse in Dedham, Massachusetts, not covering Sacco and Vanzetti, but covering the Karen Reed case tonight. And this, when I heard this, Matt, I was like, this investigation is ongoing. How did this play inside the courtroom today relative to some of the things that they were arguing about?
Yeah, they could have just left the bloody snow there. Really all they needed for evidence really was, you know, the taillight pieces that were in the snow, which a lot of people say were planted, that they did this and that the ambulance driver, the DA's lying, the police are lying, everybody in the house is lying, every soccer mom's lying. There's too many people lying for this to happen. All it would take is one person to fold and this whole thing would crumble, right? And it hasn't crumbled. You know, with all that, the motions they did to the court thinking this wouldn't go to trial. If you listen to these Karen Reed supporters, this was never going to make it to trial. Now it's on trial. If you listen to Karen Reed supporters right now, they're like, oh, Karen's innocent. She ain't going to jail. Just like she wasn't going to trial. All right. This woman's going to prison. All right. Get used to it. You're about to go. Y'all ain't got long left. I'm going to miss you, Turtle Riders. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to give y'all a good farewell cup of Kool-Aid. So y'all going to get y'all's last cup of Kool-Aid from Dolly. Okay. The last cup of Kool-Aid is going to come from me, and I'm going to give it to you with a smile. Okay. I said it when I was there to Karen Reed. I said, hey, Karen, you're going to look good in orange. And I also said Trace, because he's going to get used to hearing that. Trace. Okay. It's almost like where's the baby, but it's where's my tray? Okay. Where's my tray?
Vinny, good evening to you. You could hear a pin drop in that Dedham, Massachusetts courtroom behind me. I mean, this is something that you've heard rumblings of, but when Yannetti actually said that there is an investigation that was confirmed yesterday during a phone call with the DA's office and also the U.S. Attorney's Office, well, it was just a complete bombshell in that room when he said also that it's ongoing. And at this point in time of the hearing, we were talking about the letters that the defense wants released, communication between the DA's office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the DOJ. Here's a little bit more about that.
Immediately after our last court appearance, as I promised when I last addressed this court, we filed a motion for sanctions against District Attorney Morrissey, including a request that his office be disqualified from continuing to prosecute this case. I expect that motion will be heard on our next court. And I ask this court to consider what that hearing will look like. That hearing will prominently feature the contents of all of the 8 letters that are at issue here today. The specific content of those letters is one of the grounds that gave rise to our motion for sanctions in the first place. In fact, our motion for sanctions literally quotes from those letters. And I assume that that is the reason that our motion for sanctions is currently impounded by this court as well. But it is clear from those letters that District Attorney Morrissey is well aware that he's the target of a federal investigation as a result of his conduct in this case. Those letters prove that he knew that even before the U.S. Attorney ever confirmed that there even was an investigation.
Tully always thinks the woman done it.
Those motions for sanctions and for the removal of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, that's going to be discussed at a later date. We'll talk about that. But after these statements were made in court, Court TV got a statement from the DA's office saying that, wait a second here, we're not under investigation. Let's put it on your screen. They said this, quote, no part of the communication with the Office of the United States Attorney yesterday or at any point has indicated that the Norfolk County District Attorney or any member of this office is the target of a federal investigation. Mr. Yannetti misrepresented that completely. The defense told at the court that the feds plan to release part of their investigation into this case, maybe with some discovery within the next couple weeks.
That's unbelievable that the feds are investigating the investigators, not the DA himself, according to the DA, but the police officers I guess the detectives that investigated the death of John O'Keefe. And now the results of their investigation will be released to the DA and released to the defense. So if they come up with something, if the U.S. Attorney's Office digs some stuff up, now the defense, Karen Reed's defense, will be able to use that in their case. This is unreal, man. This is unreal what's taking place up there in Dedham.
It's unreal, and we still don't know the exact nature of the letters. They haven't been released. The judge actually had to get the letters from prosecutors, the Commonwealth, and read them. She said, I'm not going to admit a couple of these into evidence, but I will take the other ones and make a ruling at a later time as to whether or not she's going to release them.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, now let's talk about Boston Magazine. There was an attorney representing Boston Magazine who apparently did an article about this case. What was talked about today in court?
Right. So that was another big part of today. And actually, Karen Reed's defense didn't even weigh in. This was basically an argument between Boston Magazine, their media representative, and then also the Commonwealth. They want all access to Gretchen Voss's interview with Karen Reed that she did for Boston Magazine last year. She interviewed her several times, one off the record and then on the record twice. And it was for an article called The Karen Reed Case in Canton, the killing that tore a town apart. The state has made a case that they want all of the reporter notebooks, any recording, anything connected to Karen Reed, because they say in the state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, there is no reporter privilege here. However, the media attorney that spoke on behalf of Voss was saying, yes, there is privilege here. And also, she has been harassed ever since that story was published. Take a listen.
Oh, Lord.
There are really three documents at issue, two recorded interviews, one 4 hours long, another one 2 hours long, that are largely, almost entirely, on the record, were interviews with Ms. Reed in the presence of her counsel.
Okay, you say almost entirely on the record. Could you explain that, please?
I'm sorry. There are a few interjections by counsel, and there are also a few areas where counsel asked, or Ms. Reed asked, that certain information be kept off the record.
Okay.
So if those were to be produced, we would ask for the opportunity to redact those.
Okay, I understand that. What's the third or the second category, the third records?
The third is a interview with Karen Reed alone at her home between Gretchen Voss and Karen Reed. That was not recorded.
Gwen says she's innocent. I don't know. It don't look like that. You know, what reason? Nobody can still give me a motive why the police would kill John O'Keefe, and why all them people inside would lie, why the paramedics would lie. It don't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it's hard to prove that she did it on purpose. I will admit that. But the facts are she did do it. Did she do it accidentally? I believe this should be manslaughter. But, with all the evidence, they charged her with manslaughter. Then they upped it to second-degree murder because of, these text messages. She was having an affair. The kids heard John want her gone. So I guess it's enough to up it to second-degree murder. And she's most likely going to be found guilty. And it's moving along pretty quick. So she's going to get to prison a lot quicker than she thought she was.
Recorded, for which there are handwritten notes. And that interview was entirely off the record, subject to the parties agreeing to put anything on the record afterwards if they
listen. Even if the cops are crooked, don't mean she didn't do it. She could have still did it, and the cops still be crooked.
But they did not, and no statements of Ms. Reed from that interview appear in the article.
Okay.
There's also a fourth category, Your Honor, that just I became aware of last night, which is that there are a limited number of voicemails and texts between the reporter and Ms. Reed that were also considered to be off the record unless otherwise agreed. First, that the Commonwealth's request is unreasonable under Rule 17A2, because it really is just a fishing expedition. The second is that the documents in question are privileged under the common law privilege that permits a reporter under certain circumstances not to turn over unpublished notes and outtakes, and that's especially so if they're confidential. We are not, to be clear, opposing disclosure of those two interview audio tapes.
Okay.
Counsel was present, subject just to the redactions that I previously mentioned. And the third point I want to make is that this case really differs from many others dealing with the reporter's privilege due to the degree of harassment that this reporter has already experienced due to her objective coverage of this case.
the source itself is not confidential. So we're not talking about a confidential source. We're talking about potential.
All right, right now, as we listen to this, the kids are being interviewed in front of the jury. Okay, John O'Keefe's kids, you know, his adopted kids. So we can't hear that because they are minors. They're not showing it. We can't hear it. So we jumped over to Court TV just to get a little backstory on the whole Karen Reed stuff, just to fill you in if you're just coming in. But yes, if you was a cop and you was to kill somebody, are you going to throw that person in your front yard? Now, I think not. I don't think you're going to take a body outside, throw it in the front yard. If you was a cop, you would go drop him off in a dope spot. You would know how to cover up a murder. They never tried to cover up the murder, right? They didn't do anything. They didn't even get out of bed. They were drunk and hung over, okay? When Jennifer went up in the house, she startled them and woke them up. They never even got out of bed. As a matter of fact, they didn't even know who John O'Keefe was when she first said it. Right? They're like, John who? So, I mean, this ain't no cover up by the police. Now, are Boston police corrupt and probably done other shit that's on them phones? Yes, that's why everybody got rid of their phone. They probably had nudes and all kinds of stuff up there. So they were like, oh, the police ain't getting this. And they got rid of them. That don't mean Karen Reed didn't do it.
Potentially confidential information, but notably what's cited to our federal cases, because there is no reporter privilege in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It doesn't exist. What I would submit based on the Commonwealth's motion and submissions that there's not even a hint or a scintilla of a hint of bad faith or harassment by the Commonwealth, nor is this a fishing expedition. To cull through a vast array of irrelevant information. What we're looking for is statements of the defendant. Not asking for statements of the defendant's attorneys or anyone else. Not asking for the reporter's impressions or thoughts or any other things that may be contained within her notes. The statements by the defendant to this person are relevant, they're admissible, and the Commonwealth's request is specifically tailored to just those statements.
So then the media attorney goes back up to the podium and he says there is precedent, there is case law in the state of Massachusetts. So the judge has asked him to provide that within the next 2 weeks, and then she's going to make a decision on all of this. In the meantime, all of the media, we are over in a section, roped-off section of this particular courtroom, and I'm seated next to Ms. Voss, and I can look over at her, and she had no comment, but she was leaning in and taking deep breaths when they were talking about the harassment to her and her family. She has kids.
Well, this case, I mean, every time we do this case, whether, through social media, you're going to get messages from either side, both sides, however the whole thing plays out. So I can understand and I can see that absolutely happening here. So let's talk about
we have a lot of people here that believe Karen Reed is innocent too. What's up, Will? Me, myself, I don't think she's innocent, but you don't have to, have my opinion. You can think she's, I think she's guilty. Y'all can think she's innocent if you want, but I think at the end of this, she's definitely going to be found guilty. Right now, is probably what's going on is probably going to be the most damaging thing to this whole case. And that's these kids are in the courtroom right now testifying in front of the jury. And, the rumors the kids said that they heard them fighting all the time and that John told Karen that he no longer wanted to be with her. Okay, so there's some motive. She was angry. Even though she was cheating and he wanted her gone, she just wouldn't leave. So is it like, did she plan on leaving John? Or was Brian Higgins a backup just in case John left her sorry ass? I'm thinking he was the backup. Brian Higgins was the backup, man. If John O'Keefe would have been like, girl, it's off, we're done, get out, she would have been with Brian Higgins the very next day. That's what I believe.
Scene at the courthouse today. It's cold up there. Karen Reed was appearing via Zoom, as was her attorney. So what was it like?
You're one of those people.
Right. So first, we have to kind of compare it almost to the last time that we were here about a week and a half ago from the last hearing. And there was more than 100 people that were in front of the courthouse over here on the steps behind me holding all those signs. Here's what it looked like today. There was about a dozen or so people here.
Yeah, it's like people think it's like this crazy amount of support for Karen Reed in that area. Like you would think that all of Canton thinks Karen Reed is innocent. That's not true. I've been there. Locals have told me there, yeah, she's guilty. Yeah, she's guilty. You got a handful of senior citizens outside of this courthouse, right? I mean, so old that their graves are already being dug. All right. I'm that serious. It looks like they left hospice to get to this bitch, right? They're all running and out of breath and about just looking for a place to die. And they're treating this lady like she's a rock star and she's basically a cop killer. She's a liar, cheater. When this stuff comes out, listen, they don't care that Karen Reed was a piece of shit, right? They don't care. They have it could come out right now that she's killed 37 people and she's a serial killer, and they would still be out there with free Karen Reed signs. Because you know why? Because old women used to go play bingo. Now they got a little crew, like they've met friends and became buddies, and they started this little cult. That what you see out in front of that courthouse is no more than a cult that won't believe the truth, right? They booed the mother of a dead police officer. All right. They booed the mother of a dead police officer. Every last one of y'all people out there is a piece of shit. I'll tell you, I'll say it.
Supporters, and I was asking each and every one. I went up to them and I was like, you knew that Karen Reed wasn't going to be here. She was appearing via Zoom. One of her attorneys is out in California covering a trial of his own out there. And yet you still decided to stand out here in something like 14-degree temperature and hold your sign. Why was that important? And here's what they said.
Heather, thank you.
It's important for us to show up, just to show our support. And even though Karen's not going to be in the courthouse today, this group of people is committed to finding innocence for Karen Reed. We all
y'all committed to find. No, you done found friendship with other people. Y'all were lonely, and now y'all have a couple buddies. That's what it is. Okay, y'all drink the Kool-Aid. You're making your town look bad. Lady guilty as shit for killing a cop. When y'all started booing the family and the mother, I knew then. I was like, okay, these people, and I could go on all day.
all know that she did not commit a crime, and the tyranny that's going on.
Right now in the court, they are interviewing the kids. Okay, right there, witness identity withheld. So the kids are on the stand right now. John O'Keefe's kids. We can't hear what they're saying. They can't broadcast it. Only the jury can hear it and people in the court. I'm sure that the media that's in the court will come out and tell us what was said by the kids, but we won't be able to hear that. Okay. There's no rebroadcasting of it. So, but we know what the kids have said already, that they've heard John O'Keefe and Karen Reed fighting, and John O'Keefe didn't want to be with her anymore. And she refused to leave.
Norfolk County, along with the district attorney's office, the Canton Police, the Massachusetts State Police, it's an injustice, and we are not going to give up until Karen is free and we find the people who killed John O'Keefe.
They act like they're out there for justice for John O'Keefe. If he was out there for John O'Keefe, for justice for John O'Keefe, why would you boo his mother? Okay? Make good sense. If you want justice for the man you out there wanting justice for, but you're going to boo his family and his brother and his mother, that is some scumbag shit right there.
So inside the courtroom, Vinny, a lot of supporters filled the gallery. They waited in line for more than an hour to wait for the courthouse doors to open. In the very front, seated pretty close to me, was 2 rows for John O'Keefe's family and friends. They didn't have anything to say after the hearing today, but of course we extend our invitation for them to talk about John, which is what the protesters and other people say that this case is about, right? Justice for John.
You know, it's amazing. You've got more people showing up from the public at pretrial hearings here in Dedham, Massachusetts, than were showing up for the first week of Johnny Depp's trial in Virginia.
Okay, so right here we said, okay, chief court officer just told all media we cannot tweet or take notes. Okay, so the media cannot tweet nothing out. They can't take notes. They can just listen and possibly go back and report what the kids said, but they can't take notes. They can't write anything down. People are angry that the kids are being made to testify. Listen, I mean, of course they wasn't there that night, but they're testifying to, the relationship, so, Karen Reed's making it out to be like their relationship was fine and everything was fine inside that relationship, but it won't. The kids clearly said that, they had been fighting and John didn't want to be with her anymore. And she didn't give two damns about them kids anyway. We know now she didn't even like the kids. She didn't like taking care of them. She didn't like that John had them. She wanted to be single. She didn't want kids.
It's unreal. It's unreal at this stage of everything happening, the amount of people who are focused on this case and interested in the outcome. All right, so what's next now, Matt?
Okay, so we have another couple pre-trial hearings. The next one is slated for February 15th. And at that time, we know that they are going to be talking about maybe following up with some of the motions that they discussed today, maybe the media order. And then also a motion to dismiss the case. That's pretty standard. And they will also be discussing a motion to disqualify and sanction the district attorney. So
yes, we will just be getting a summary of the kids. They cannot take notes. They cannot tweet out right now. So the media can't even do it. So right now the kids are testifying on the stand and we don't get to hear any of that because they're juveniles.
So we could hear more about that federal investigation, according to the defense and what was said yesterday.
Big decisions, big case. We are rolling towards that trial. Matt Johnson in Dedham tonight. Make sure you warm up. Appreciate it tonight, Matt. Thanks so much. All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to bring in our experts and get some analysis of what's happening in the.
Yeah, she was texting with Brian Higgins saying she was single with no kids and she liked him because, he was single with no kids and they could live their best life and they could do whatever they wanted to because they didn't have kids. My whole thing is she didn't want to leave John O'Keefe. She just wanted to bang Brian Higgins on the side. And if John O'Keefe decided to leave her, she was going to jump over with Brian Higgins. She's trying to get a little upgrade from police officer to ATF, federal agent. You know what I'm saying?
This case plus coming up next hour.
In Delphi, Indiana, the Delphi murder case heads to the Indiana Supreme Court as the accused killers.
I will be in court. Delphi. I will be there live covering this case for you guys in Delphi, Indiana. So we're going to the bridge. We're going to be there with Richard Allen. A lot of people believe this dude is innocent. This is one of the big stories coming up here on Dolly that I will actually be there to cover. So if you're into the Delphi murders, which I actually started covering, I actually got into the Delphi murders before I even had a true crime channel. I was already watching stuff on Keegan Kline, his dad, this whole Odenism thing. So we'll be on the front lines for this one, guys. And I'll be back in Boston for Karen Reed too. So, but we're going to be here a lot for the Richard Allen trial. We're going to cover that extensively because this is one of those crazy, crazy cases. And there's no way I'm missing this one.
Former lawyers fight to get back on the case. We have a live report from the state capitol.
The prosecutor has requested that the attorney be disqualified from representing me in this case. I do not want.
The Commonwealth is moving for a protective order for these letters after revealing part of what they contain. The Commonwealth wants to keep the remainder of the letters hidden because the letters contain information that will embarrass District Attorney Morrissey and his office.
Dog mama, cool.
The letters demonstrate that he's a target of a federal investigation for what his office has done to Karen Reed.
That's Karen Reed with her attorney.
She's already shooting a documentary. When I was there, you could see the cameras following her around. So they're shooting a documentary. I don't know if it's for Netflix or it's for Hulu or whoever the hell it's for, but she's already, doing a documentary. And that's just in case she gets free. But the chances they're letting her go, I will be amazed if she gets out of this. I truly will be amazed. I was thinking, she's rich. They ain't got much evidence. She'll probably get away with it. But the more I listen, I'm like, oh, no, I don't think she's going to get away with it.
Appearing via Zoom today. In her case, she's been accused of murdering her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, a Boston police officer. She says, no, wasn't me. I didn't do it. I didn't run him over with my car. Something happened at the party I was dropping him off at, the late night after hours party involving some police officers, and something happened there.
You thought she looked, I thought she looked better in court today. She looks a lot better in blue than she does black. Okay. In that black, she looked like she was a damn Amish or something. I don't know. It just looked weird on her. She looks a lot better in the blue. She don't look as evil.
The ones that did it wasn't me. Now, what's happening is that there apparently is an ongoing investigation by the feds of this investigation. And there's some letters that were written back and forth between the federal U.S. attorney and the DA who is prosecuting this case. Take a look. Boston 25 News. This is from last December. 25 Investigates has learned that the Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey sent a letter to the Department of Justice requesting that the federal probe of the Karen Reed case be transferred out of Massachusetts.
Well, this court TV video is a little bit old, guys. And we know now that federal stuff, that whole stuff they're talking ain't nothing. If you remember, they were like, Karen Reed will never make it to trial. She'll never go to trial. She ended up on trial, right? The same people out there screaming, she won't be convicted. She's innocent. There's a conspiracy. There'll be the same people crying, oh, I can't believe they did Karen Reed like this. She is going to be found guilty. All right. Guilty. Nobody else ran this person over. And you listen, they're getting out here tying this conspiracy into the police. Let me tell you this. The judge gets paid by the same people the police do. The prosecutor, these people all get paid by the same people. They're going to go with what the police say. All right. You think they're going to believe some criminal over the police? When the police go in there and sit on that stand, they'll believe the police before anything. If the federal investigation came up with something, wouldn't they have prolonged the trial? Exactly. There's nothing in this investigation that stopped this trial from moving forward. Okay. They always investigate. All right. Just because there's an investigation don't mean there's something wrong going on. They're looking to see if there's anything wrong. Just because they investigate don't mean you've done anything wrong. So you got to look to see if there's any wrongdoing, right? They're looking to see if there's any wrongdoing. If there was any wrongdoing, of course, there'd be something of it, but you don't see nothing. So there must not have been too much wrongdoing. Now, are police corrupt? I would say a lot of police, could have the possibility of being, we don't know what was on their phones. We don't even know if the reason they got rid of the phone is because of Karen Reed. Okay. They could have been doing something else crooked. And we're like, oh shit, they're going to see this when they go looking for Karen Reed stuff. Let's get rid of the phones. It could be something like that. Just because the police are corrupt don't mean Karen Reed didn't do it. She could have done it and the police still be corrupt. All right. The police didn't kill John O'Keefe. I know that.
Morrissey's letter provides the first official confirmation that the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Massachusetts is looking into the arrest and prosecution of Karen Reed. And today we learned that that investigation is in fact ongoing. Joining me tonight from Jacksonville, Florida, retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffendorfer, and in New York
Good old running ass Jennifer Coffendorfer and this turtle rider simp. Okay, she is innocent. I don't think she's innocent, say when, right? I don't think she's innocent at all. I think her eyes show how guilty she is, right? That woman was evil. She was a cheat. What a dirtbag bitch. I swear.
City attorney and host of Attorney Mellon.
All right, let's get past this a little bit. Nobody want to hear about these. Let's hear what old Jennifer has to say.
She had to leave her office under allegations of her own. So that is when this file was opened. Whenever there's a public corruption matter opened, and in this case, it was Mr. Morrissey's office. Now, Mr. Morrissey is in charge of overseeing these sorts of investigations. His investigative body is the state police. So, of course, whatever he has had his hands in terms of investigations, including this investigation, which was riddled with allegations of impropriety, the FBI is going to step in and do a full and thorough investigation.
So we have an investigation within an investigation here, Melanie. And what we learned also today in court, apparently, is that the feds will reveal their findings to both sides. It's sort of an ongoing thing. I've never seen or heard of this before. Your thoughts?
Guys, this is kind of old news. We're past this point. We already know the results of this. It's been nothing. They're talking a whole bunch of hoopla, right? Karen Reed is on trial. The federal probe wasn't nothing to interfere with the trial. The trial is ongoing. Right now, John O'Keefe's kids are testifying, which is going to do so much damage to Karen Reed that she just don't know, right? So we're getting closer and closer to this lady going to prison for the next, 20, 30 years?
You know, I've been doing this for 30 years, Vinny, and I've never seen this happen either. This is very, very rare. It rarely happens. I mean, what Yannetti said in court today is that they had a conference call with both sides yesterday with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the U.S. Attorney's Office is going through They
really had some a great deal of evidence to start out with, and then you start calling.
I skipped past her because that's all old news. We know nothing came out of that. And see, these people, she's going to get up there and act like it's a big deal, but it won't no big deal. Everything moved forward like it was supposed to. So we're going back a little bit in time because the kids are testifying right now. So we can't listen to it. We can't hear it. So this way we at least got something going on about the Karen Reed case. So if you just tuning in and you don't know about Karen Reed, you can learn a little bit about the Karen Reed case here today. You know, it's alleged that she ran over her boyfriend, that they went to this party, this after hours party. They had left a watering hole and went back to Brian Albert's house, and they never went inside. They'd never seen John O'Keefe come inside. And the following morning, Karen Reed went right exactly to where his body was at. She knew exactly where his body was at. And, you know, it's alleged that she hit him with her car purposely because she was mad and didn't want to be in the relationship no more.
Calling in grand juries.
Okay, so now how does this affect, or what does this mean about what happened to John O'Keefe? Jennifer.
Thank you, Heather.
Well, if, and that's a big if, they have investigative findings that show.
I don't believe she would even get 5 years. Shit, she's going to prison she's charged with 2nd-degree murder. She's about to be found guilty. If she was smart, she would have took a plea deal to manslaughter, but she ain't smart. She's so arrogant and thinks she's a rock star that she thinks she can beat this. That's why I'm going to be in Boston to laugh at people personally. Okay, I'm going to have my Kool-Aid stand set up, and you think I'm kidding about the Kool-Aid stand? Dolly ain't kidding. I'm going to have a legitimate Kool-Aid fucking stand out there laughing at people, videotaping it.
Some sort of corruption, it could affect that. But the bottom line is, I look at facts and have read the entirety of the court filings, and I can tell you the facts are strong that indeed Karen Reed dropped off Officer O'Keefe and ran him over. And that is
amen, Jennifer Coffindoffer. Even though you run fast as shit, I bet you did. Jennifer Coffindoffer could outrun me. I've seen her run, right? You can get me, girl. You would outrun me. I know you would. But you are absolutely right. Evidence is going to point to Karen Reed. The police didn't kill this man with no motive for no reason and drop his body in the front yard. That's just stupid. When people say, I instantly think you're stupid. Okay. I hate to say that to the Boston people up there that think, you know, they did this. But if you was a cop, come on, trust me. I ain't even a cop and I wouldn't drop your body in my front yard. Okay. That's just ridiculous.
Is just what the evidence shows. And so if the corruption existed, I would like to know what specifically that had to do with those sets of facts.
What do you think, Melanie? What does this investigation of the investigators, and what does it mean about the truth of what happened to John O'Keefe?
Well, I think that nobody really knows the truth, right? Unless we were there. And I've read the entire court file too. And there are, as always, three sides at least to every story. But what we're seeing here is witnesses who testified in front of Karen Reed's grand jury being called now. They're being served subpoenas to come and testify in front of the federal grand jury. So,
which is old. This is an old video. So, which led to nothing. Okay. It led to nothing. I do believe that Jennifer Coffindoffer is right. The evidence points to one person being with him. And listen, how can you sit out there and say Karen Reed is innocent? Y'all know she was drunk. Okay. She's also charged with DUI. All right. Is somebody going to sit here and say she wasn't drunk? She had 8 vodka and sodas. You don't believe 8 vodkas and sodas put you over the legal limit? Okay. Fact, I hit him. I cannot pass that. She said it multiple times to multiple people. Did it? I hit him. I hit him. So now we got a man that's dead that appears that he looked like he been hit by a car. We got a woman saying I hit him, right? The woman is the last person to see him. The woman is cheating on him. You don't think she's going to be found guilty? Right? You don't think she's going to be found guilty? She's absolutely going to be found guilty. I can't wait to tell these other YouTubers, I told you so. I told you so, big ass, dumb ass.
so much of what Jennifer is saying is based on eyewitness testimony, right? And if those same witnesses are being called,
I'm just counting my days to the I told you so moment.
called to testify in front of a federal grand jury, maybe they are going to uncover that perhaps some of these people misspoke. Perhaps their statements were not accurately recorded. What I've noticed is that none of the witness statements are signed. So I think we're going to see. We're going to see if it was accurate or not accurate what these witnesses told the investigating Trooper Proctor right from the jump.
Peter Ellikin, I'm always...
This lady is a lawyer and thinks Karen Reed is innocent. Good Lord.
Caught in this thing of, I understand the job of the criminal defense attorney, you raise reasonable doubt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, this is very problematic for trying a case and proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. But my main concern is the truth of what happened to John O'Keefe.
Oh, she's a civil lawyer. Okay, let me not say nothing mean about her then, because she might sue me. But yeah, she's dead ass wrong. I hate to say this. Jennifer Coffindoffer's right. The evidence points to her. There ain't no conspiracy. There's too many moving parts to be a conspiracy. She was on an island with Alan Jackson, allegedly. I don't know.
So explain to me from your perspective what you think this investigation will uncover. And will it uncover the truth about what happened to John O'Keefe, or will it just uncover that they weren't dotting I's and crossing T's here?
Yeah, and I know the last time I was on your show, we said the same thing, that, yeah, we don't want to exactly talk about reasonable doubt. There's probably enough reasonable doubt to drive a truck through. But how about the truth? And I think ultimately the truth will come out, but perhaps it won't be until trial because, and I'll give you the reasons.
The computer search was done in the morning, right? They explained how that happened. The window was open at like 2-something in the morning, the search window, but she didn't search how long to die in the snow and the cold till the following morning. And Karen Reed told her to do that. She testified in court to that. I believe these people. I don't think they're lying. The only person lying is the drunk bitch that was driving that car that thinks she's a rock star. She don't shed one tear for her dead boyfriend, right? I can tell you now, if something happened to me, PJ would cry, right? Only 369 likes. You guys get those likes up. Get those likes up for your boy Dolly.
For that, is it because we have so much evidence here with two sides of the story? For example, they The defense says that the phone records show that he was actually had left the car, gone into the.
Just like she told the kids bye and that she had to focus on the bad times. Right? So yeah, this man's dead. She's going to go get her shit. She calls her boyfriend up or her new fling, right? The day she finds him dead and goes, John's dead. She was trying to get a booty call while this man was in the hospital dead.
The house was on different floors of the house. We know that. And yet the prosecution says, no, that data is all wrong. So I think, and we haven't seen any hard data from it, any proof or whatever, and the discovery's been slow. Ultimately, maybe it's going to be about.
Yeah, she was part of these kids' life, and she's going to sit there and act like she cared about these kids. Yeah, the day he died, she's never been a part of their life since then. So, yeah, this lady's a scumbag. And you listen, she's going to get what's coming to her, right? I got faith in that, they're going to convict this lady. She's going to prison. All them people out there are going to cry, and they're going to have to go back to playing bingo, okay? B3.
Of the experts that will come out which side is correct. We also heard that one of the people inside the house at 2:27 a.m.
She was faking it. When she found him, she was crying and hysterical because she did it. How did she know where he was at? She is selfish. She's a dirtbag. She was, look how she treated the kids. Look how she treated John O'Keefe. You think she cared? Oh, she loved him. If she loved him so much, she would be making out with Brian Higgins. She wouldn't be texting him the minute he died, talking about he's dead. Right? She was ready to get the D. She wasn't playing around. That is sorry. Your ass should go to prison just for that. All right. You should go to prison for just not caring about that man. It's women like that, that give women a bad name. Women, I don't see how all these women are standing up for this dirtbag lady. It's not good to cheat on somebody, especially if you acting like you love that person.
3.5 hours before the body was found, was Googling how long does it take a person
Peter, you have
to
done
die
it
in the cold.
again. You have teed up our next segment. We have to take a break right now, but exactly what Peter is talking about, this alleged Google search that the
back to bingo, not that Nina. Yes, they're going back to crocheting and bingo, and you get your farewell cup of Kool-Aid from Dolly, and I give it to you with a smile. I'll give it to you with a smile. This lady is guilty as shit. She's about to pay the ultimate price. She's about to go to prison, and we're going to celebrate it. We're going to celebrate her going to prison, right? And PJ's right. PJ, I'm the one that said she was going to get away with it, and PJ's done convinced me she ain't getting away with it. And the more I hear, I'm thinking she ain't getting away with it. They're trying to make all this confusion in the courtroom so the jury members don't even realize what the hell is going on. But it ain't going to work. Once these kids get up there and they start talking, she's done. She is. Do you see the look? They're looking at her. Now, why she wanted to do a court where the jury could see her don't make sense to me. Because if I was her and looked that evil, right? She's not a pleasant person. Right? Why would you want the jury where they could see you? Right? Them big crazy eyes, you rolling your eyes at the judge, flicking people off in the court. Right? Did you see the look of John O'Keefe's brother when he looked over at her when they were reading off the text messages from Brian Higgins? Right? It was like he looked at her like he wanted to run across the courtroom and punch her straight in the face. I don't blame him, right? I don't blame him. So, the jury, they can see John O'Keefe's brother sitting there too, looking mad as shit at her, like just staring her down like a pit bull, like she was a sandwich, right? He had that look like, lady, I will jump up and destroy you. And, imagine the family sitting there knowing their loved one is dead and this lady's a cheater, like didn't care, F the kids. Man, that's a hard one to take as a family member.
supporters of Karen Reed really saying, this is it. This is what proves not that she didn't do it, that she is.
You would like to see John O'Keefe's phone and see what he was up to? Why is it about John O'Keefe? John O'Keefe, you should be saying rest in peace to John O'Keefe. right? Now I can tell you now, John O'Keefe was a good guy. Look what he was doing, taking care of the kids. They weren't his kids. He stepped up. That's a man right there. John O'Keefe was a man. Okay. He was a good man. He don't deserve to be shit on, right? He was doing an awesome job. He adopting the kids, taking them kids on. He's a police officer, ain't never been in trouble in his life. Don't put nothing bad. Don't put nothing bad on this man in this room. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but for me is rest in peace, John O'Keefe. As a fallen officer, a good dude, and from a shitty woman. A shitty woman. All right. I know there's good women out there, but there's some shitty ones too. And this ladies, this is a shitty woman that hurt this man and left him there to die. Left him there to die. It's sad. It truly is.
Actually innocent and someone else did it. We'll talk about it when we come back. Did a contentious divorce lead to a killing?
Jennifer Dulos vanished in 2019.
Yeah, we don't boo the John O'Keefe family here. We don't talk shit about John O'Keefe. It's nothing but rest in peace and respect to that man. Hopefully, we pray. I do. I don't know about we, because some of you guys in here think Karen Reed's innocent, and you have that right. I'm not mad at you for thinking that, right? You're more than welcome to come in here and say Karen Reed is innocent. You know, I just don't think she is. Okay, I think she's a dirtbag. I think she's a scumbag. Like, I don't give a fuck how much money you got, woman. You're trash. You can put on a $6,000 outfit, and you could put on the damn $2,000 pair of heels, and you're still just a big old piece of shit. You just a polished turd is what you are. Justice for John O'Keefe. Prayers for his family, his brother. I wish I could give that man a hug. I know it's anger. I know what he's going through. You know, it's terrible to lose somebody you love, especially to do it to somebody that didn't give two F's about him.
And has never been found.
Her estranged husband was charged with her murder, but died by suicide before.
And me and my family and my attorneys and my team have marshaled every resource.
She couldn't muster up a tear to fake cry for John O'Keefe if she wanted to. Okay? She can't. She is so narcissistic, she can't even fake it, guys. Not 1 minute. If you seen how, you know, I was there. You know, I've said shit that I told her. She looked right over too. She was like, I know she heard it. You gonna look, because them buildings echo. So when I said it, I didn't even scream it as loud as I could. I did it about half volume, and it was echoing off the buildings. You gonna look good in orange, right? You know how loud I am, right? So that shit was loud, and she is gonna wear that orange. She don't care. She can't fake cry. She don't even act like she's concerned. Does she not realize that there's a dead man, even if she didn't do it? Let's just say, guys, Karen Reed is 100% innocent. Okay. Shouldn't she be crying about the person she loved dying? Right? Shouldn't she be? Shouldn't she be concerned? Shouldn't she be like, man, I didn't do this. I miss John. I loved him so much. Nothing. Me and my legal team waving at, like she did her little presidential wave and shit. She got weirdos running up to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is strange. You got these weird dude stalkers. It's like you got Turtle Boy trying to hook up with her. You know what I'm saying? He's over there spanking to her, you know, in the middle of the night. Got pictures of damn Karen Reed all over the room. Lotion bottles, just napkins all over the fucking floors. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. So don't shake none of them hands up there with them weird ass dudes up there stalking this woman. Turtle Boy think they gonna hook up, right? I'm sorry, Turtle Boy. She got a thing for Brian Higgins. Okay. You ain't a federal agent. You're a federal idiot. Okay. You a federal idiot. I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same. This man said they're gonna sit back and laugh and be millionaires one day. Right? He is the most grifting, crooked ass scamming person on this YouTube platform. Okay, I ain't never seen nothing like the Turtle Boy shit. All right, he's selling free Karen Reed. He's selling shit that ain't even his. All right, ain't giving Karen Reed one damn penny. All right, look, Karen Reed ain't. You should have gave her a cut. You wanted to hook up, Turtle Boy. I don't think she's going to look at your fucking weird little ass and be like, dude, back up. All right. She needed you for interference. Your job is done.
To get to the truth just feels like no one else wants it.
Just because you didn't do it.
We know who did it. Steve.
Okay, well, if I'm delusional, I'll be in Boston. I'll be there the last week she's on trial. When they find her guilty, if I'm delusional, you come get a cup of Kool-Aid from me and let me know how delusional I am. Because I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to be laughing my ass off. I'm going to be laughing at every single person out there. I'm going to laugh so hard that somebody punches me in the face. Okay. You're going to have to knock me out to stop me from laughing. It's coming. Just know. And I'm counting the days, baby. I am counting the days to be like, I told you so, bitches. Right. That's what they're going to get. I promise. Dolly don't say nothing I don't do. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, guys, have you ever heard me say I'm going to be somewhere and not be there? Have y'all ever heard me say I'm going to be somewhere and not be there? No. When I say I'm going, and I say I'm going to be there, and I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Okay? So make sure you stop by, get some Dolly Kool-Aid. It's absolutely free. I'm not selling anything. I'm giving the Kool-Aid away. Okay? I'm just giving it away. Come up my Kool-Aid stand I'm going to have set up out there. Get you a nice ice cold glass, a Dolly Kool-Aid, okay? And I'm telling you, it'll open up your vision. That's why we call it Dolly Vision, because I know what's coming. I see it. I can see it. I have that vision, baby.
We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do. And no, she didn't.
Hey, Miss Fit.
No, she didn't do it. This is an innocent woman. She didn't do it.
I tried to save his life. Yeah. I tried to save his life at 6 in the
In Dolly, we trust in a non-cultist way. Okay? Right? In a non-cultist. Listen, when you drink my Kool-Aid up there in Boston, you don't got to join the Dolly cult. We don't even want you in the cult. We're just giving you some Kool-Aid so I can laugh at you in person. Okay? And videotape it. How many people, when you think she's found guilty, are going to come up and get a glass of Dolly Kool-Aid? You think they're going to come get a glass? I mean, after all day in court, there ain't really no stores right there to get nothing to drink either, because, you know, Dolly's been there. So I'm sure somebody's going. Tom, maybe. Tom look like he drink plenty of Kool-Aid, right? Tom will probably come get him a glass. He likes to sit next to Dolly and hover around me like a weirdo, right? Seems a little strange. Tom, I got a girlfriend. Okay. I'm just letting you know, Tom, I got a girlfriend. But I'm sure Tom will come get him a glass, you know, a nice cool glass of Dolly Kool-Aid. I'll hook you up, Tom. When I see you, I'll hook you up. I promise.
morning. I was covered in his blood.
I owe Tom a glass anyway, because I was wrong about Tom saying something about me, and really it was one of those other weird freaks. So I old Tom, I owe you a glass of Kool-Aid. When I set up the Kool-Aid stand, you can come up, you can get the first glass, bro. I got you. Dolly got y'all. All right. I'm going to look out. I might even bring some Little Debbie snack cakes. Okay. I'll hook you up with some Kool-Aid and a Little Debbie. You be good to go, baby.
I was the only one trying to save his life.
That's Karen Reed on the courthouse steps. And she says she didn't do it, number one, and she's the only one fighting for John O'Keefe here.
I ain't forgot about Tom. I ain't forgot Rita. Okay. We got Tom and Rita. I'm bringing y'all a special glass. Okay. I'm bringing Tom, Rita, Turtle Boy. You can come over and get you some Kool-Aid too. Right. I'm going to laugh at you. Right. I'm going to laugh at you, bro. I'm going to laugh at you. All right. I want to do it in person though. Laughing at y'all over the internet just ain't the same as laughing at y'all in person. So I want to be there to laugh. I done seen you call firsthand. I done seen how y'all operate. So I got you though. I got y'all. All right. Don't worry. You won't miss the Kool-Aid stand. You ain't going to miss the big Dolly. You ain't going to miss none of it. You will see it. Trust me. Y'all will see me. I'm hard to miss. Okay. I'm short, but I'm hard to miss.
Now, prosecutors would differ with that and say, we're fighting for John O'Keefe too by prosecuting you for his murder. But there's one piece of evidence that I think most would agree is the key to this entire case. And really the key, the piece of evidence that the supporters of Karen Reed say, this is it. This is what proves she did not do it, that she is innocent, and it was someone inside that house that killed John O'Keefe. Here's Alan Jackson, the attorney for Karen Reed, on this show explaining that.
Sarcasm for Fun. Sylvia, thank you so much. And Sarcasm for Fun gifted $5 membership. So make sure if you got one of those memberships, you give Sarcasm for Fun a big virtual hug and thank them for the membership.
That piece of evidence.
Why is Jennifer McCabe one of the parties that was inside the house that night, the sister-in-law of Brian Albert? Why was she Google searching? How long does it take for a human body to die in the cold? The Apple Cocoa core data indicates, or the core time indicates exactly what time that Google search occurred. That time was at 2.
That's been proven wrong. Okay. That's been proven. The people that do the data said that how it operates and even gave an example and showed that you could open a window, search something later on, and it give the time that the window was open. Okay. So that whole, how long does it take to die in the cold? Listen, how long does it take to drink the Dolly Kool-Aid? Okay. That's what's going to be on my Kool-Aid stand. How long before you get you a cup of this Dolly Kool-Aid, baby?
2:27 and 40 seconds in the morning on January 29th. That's 3.5 hours before John O'Keefe's body was found.
All right, two sides to everything in this story, in this case, in this trial. Take a look at the screen. This is what the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is saying about all of that. The Commonwealth ran Miss McCabe's phone through a Cellbrite reader that was created on May 4th, 2022. The defense expert used Cellbrite Physical Analyzer, a newer updated version of the software, used it to download it. The purportedly incriminating search in question does not appear in the downloaded material using the earlier version of the software and therefore was not in the earlier extraction. The updated version of Cellbrite that was not in existence at the time of the trooper's initial download does show such a search. However, the Google search, how long to die in the cold, did not occur at 2:27.
Bam. Okay. Bam. This is what all these people out there in front of the courthouse holding them signs right here. The evidence shows that this search did not occur at that time. Okay. So they still clinging on to hope. I'm going to miss you, Karen. I'm going to miss you. You are going to look good in orange though. Okay. You're going to look good in orange. They're going to love you up inside the damn penitentiary, but they're going to love your rich bougie ass.
In 40 seconds, a.m. Okay, let's bring back in our guests, Jennifer Koffendorfer, Melanie Little, and Peter Elkin, who's joining us by phone. Jennifer, do you agree this search is the key? Did it or did it not take place at 2:27 in the morning, 3.5 hours?
The experts say it didn't. Okay, the experts say it didn't. Jennifer said that Karen Reed told her to search. She kept asking her, so she searched, and she was panicky, so she didn't spell it right. She spelled it HOS, right? So Jennifer McCabe is telling the truth, and they're trying to spin this. All right. Orange is the new black, Mary. I agree with you.
Before John O'Keefe's body was discovered.
No, it didn't take place then. That is when her Safari was open. It copied to a wall file. And at that point, the other searches that were made after that all have that timestamp. She made that search after she and the Jen McCabe and Karen Reed and the other occupant arrived, and Karen Reed was screaming, "Oh my gosh," because they just found him. How long does it take someone? Google it, Google it. And then that is when Jen McCabe went in and did that. And that's what the evidence, I believe, will show. Furthermore, Vinny, just from a common sense standpoint, they're alleging that all of these people in this house, an ATF agent, a decorated police officer, a 17-year-old, a dog, and several.
Everybody killed him. Everybody killed him but Karen Reed, right? Listen, Karen Reed. Listen, I'm going to agree with Jennifer Koffendorfer on this one. The search wasn't made then. Karen Reed was the only one with him. She was drunk, okay? These police officers had no reason to kill John O'Keefe. They had no motive. These women have no reason to lie. They're going to say the dog bite, but that is nothing but from being hit from a car and him falling onto that glass. A lot of people say, well, how did his cell phone get under him? Because if you listen to the 911 call, it sounds like John O'Keefe was face down on the ground when they found him. They rolled, from what it sounds like, they rolled John O'Keefe over when they put those blankets down. Okay. And that's why his cell phone would have been under him. Now, if you don't believe that, go back and listen to the 911 call. Okay. Where Jennifer McCabe calls the police and, you know, she's standing at the edge of the trunk because she went to get blankets to put under him. So, you know, and then of course, Karen Reed is on top of him with her titties out, you know, acting like she cares when really she was just making out with Brian Higgins trying to hook up. Soon as he dead, she writes the dude that she likes and says, hey, my boyfriend's dead. We can hook up now. Well, she didn't say the hook up now part, but she said, hey, he's dead. And this dude was smart enough to say, hey, I ain't never contacting this crazy bitch again. And that's what he did. He ghosted her.
Women beat this man to death and threw him on the front lawn. Why would you even Google that? You would have thought he's dead. He's got a busted cranium at that point. So it doesn't make any sense. The other scenario makes sense.
Melanie Little.
I'm right a lot. Sometimes, right? Listen, this is common sense stuff. The woman was drunk. You know the reason why they tell you not to drink and drive? It's because you could hurt somebody. Okay? You can hurt yourself and you can hurt somebody. And that night she had too many drinks and she hurt her boyfriend. Now, did she do that intentionally? I don't know. I think that's a hard one to prove, right? But far as thinking everybody else in there, listen, or I hate to say this, what if he fell? Tried to get up, fell again until he laid there and died. But that don't explain the broken taillight. Okay. It don't explain the taillight dust and fragments that are on John O'Keefe. Okay. He has little pieces of taillight on him. It don't explain her taillight being there. So these police went to the police station, took the taillight, went out there and planted it in front of all these people and media cameras and everything covering this story in the snow. Okay. Didn't happen. Karen Reed is guilty. It's just a matter of time. All you brainwashed people out there that, you know, listen, I love conspiracy. I'm a big conspiracy person, you know, 9/11 was an inside job type shit, right? But this is not a conspiracy. It's not even close to a conspiracy. If it ain't a good one, right? There's too many moving pieces in it. There's no way. If one person got mad at another person, everybody goes to prison. No, this shit didn't happen. They didn't force Karen Reed to get out there and say, I hit him. She did that on her own.
Your thoughts about this Google search?
So many thoughts. Well, first of all, the defense obviously has an expert who completely disagrees with those findings and says that that's
yeah, but the defense ain't the prosecution. The state is going to go with the state. As a lawyer, you should know that. Okay, you should know that. You should know this woman ain't got a chance in hell. You just trying to get some clicks and views off the conspiracy people behind the Karen Reed. All right, just for that, if I ever get in trouble, I ain't hiring you as a civil attorney. All right.
search was absolutely made at 2:27 a.m. Not only was it made at 2:27 a.m., but then that search was actually deleted from Jen McCabe's phone before she turned over her phone to law enforcement 4 days later. She also made two other searches around 6:24, 6:27 a.m.
Yeah, the same time she made that search. Okay. That's the same time she made the search with Karen Reed.
In which she tried to spell it the same way, because the first time that she Googled it, she spelled how, H-O-S. So it was really Haas long to die in cold. But then she made two more searches after 6 a.m. around the time that the body was found. Number two, with regard to the people.
Okay, now here's the thing there, Miss Attorney. Okay, Miss Attorney. Why would she need to search it again at 6? If she searched how long to die in the cold at 2:27, why would she need to search it at 6:30? If she's already searched it, right? Why would she need to search it again? So I'm going to be there watching him die in the house, searching it. And then when they find him, I'm going to search it again. That don't make no damn sense. to cover it up, Dolly. No, that shit is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. So she's going to search it in the middle of the night while she's watching this man die. If she was so concerned about how long does it take to die, why didn't she go out there and help him? Okay, let's just say the nephew did get in a fight with him and beat him up. They drug him out there in the house. Well, why would they leave him? Right? You don't think they're smart enough to know that if you leave somebody in the snow, they're going to die? Right? These are police officers. They're first responders. Okay. They are trained in this to help people until the paramedics get there. All right. That shit sounds so dumb, right? Listen, I know people will believe some things. You make up a good enough story, people will believe it. But let's just get my Kool-Aid. Just make sure you stop by my Kool-Aid stand. Okay. Just make sure you stop by the Dolly Kool-Aid stand.
People that were in the house. First, they were alleging that the 17-year-old was never in the house and his name was never brought up and he was never interviewed until approximately 18 months after this tragic incident of Officer John.
I can tell you now, Civil Lori, that kid, I've seen him. He didn't beat John O'Keefe up. All right. He did not beat John O'Keefe up. That didn't happen. It's like, I hate to say you sound stupid, but I think you sound stupid. Okay. And I know it's your opinion, and everybody's, you might think my opinion's stupid. I probably sound stupid to you, but what you're saying don't make good damn sense. Okay. What you're saying does not make good damn sense.
John O'Keefe. And so now they're saying that he was in the house. So I'm a little bit confused. Was he there? Was he not there? There are so many.
They said he's there. Okay. He left before John O'Keefe got there. So when they asked him who was in the house, they told him who was in the house. You didn't say, well, who's been in the house the whole day? Well, at 6:30 this morning, somebody else could have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, who was that? When you say who was in the house, you're asking who was in the house at the time this happened. Okay. Of course the boy was in the house, but he left before this happened. Right? You conspiracy people. When y'all listen, when this whole Karen Reed shit's over and they go to the damn she goes to prison for the next 20 years, y'all can join QAnon, okay?
Many questions here, and I also think that if we're going to use common sense, here's the other piece of common sense. Would Karen Reed, in her horror of finding her boyfriend dead on the front lawn of Officer Brian Albert, yell to her friend, Google how long it takes to die of hypothermia? I think that defies logic.
Peter Elkin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of going to second what I just heard, that it does seem really odd. You just found a dead body on your lawn. And the thing is, then you rush to go to Google. And I'm out of curiosity. How long did it take? That just defies common sense. Again, I think the experts are going to hash this out. The defense experts clearly say that was a 227. And then why would she have deleted that after she put it in? So I think that it is, ultimately it's going to come down to experts, and we may find the ultimate actual answer. But right now, I don't think that the prosecution has really given enough hard data on it that would convince anybody at this point. And this would be, as we say, this really could be absolutely damning evidence that she would do that. And I don't think this idea that was just brought up about, well, why would all these people in the house have done that? I mean, certainly friends, if an incident happens among friends, it's not some incredibly sophisticated conspiracy.
You're absolutely right, PJ. I was muted. Sorry, guys. You're absolutely right. If the plow didn't see him out there, right, then why would she be searching at 2:27? How long does it take to die in the cold? All right. He would, according to the plow driver, he wasn't even out there. All right. But I want to give you a prime example or something. And I did this to PJ the other day. And PJ knows what I did, right? She started talking about the Karen Reed case and the plow driver not seeing him. And I said, PJ, we just left the house, right? We're sitting at, where were we at? We at some food place. And I said, PJ, when you pulled out my driveway, the first house on the right, what was in their yard? You know what PJ said? What do you think PJ said? What do you think PJ said? Somebody tell me in the chat. And I just want to prove something to y'all. I said, PJ, the first house on the right, when we pulled out the driveway, what was in their yard? What do you think she said? Somebody guess. Somebody guess. Absolutely, Liza. Absolutely. I don't know. No clue. You know why? Because she wasn't looking. She drove right by it. Right? But she didn't look. I didn't look. She could have answered anything. I wouldn't even have knew. You know what I'm saying? I just knew she didn't know. Right? Because people don't pay attention to shit like that. That's just honest, right? Put yourself in the same position. How much do you pay attention to the things around you? Dolly, not so much, right? But I knew she didn't know because you're not looking for a body, right? There could have been 15 dead bodies in the yard. Okay. There could have been 15 dead bodies in my neighbor's yard. She wouldn't have knew. I wouldn't have knew. All right. I just want to show you that example. Are you looking for dead bodies? How many times have you got in your car? Muted. Can't hear you. I'm not muted. That's old. I was muted. You must be a little bit behind. Right? How many times have you got in your car and looked for dead bodies laying on the side of the road? Anybody? Like, oh shit, let me look for dead bodies. Usually I'm paying attention to where I'm driving so I don't run somebody over so there ain't no dead bodies. Right? I'm just riding around looking for dead bodies in the plow truck. How the hell are you going to stay on the road if you riding around looking for dead bodies? They were like, he couldn't have did it. The plow driver said he wasn't there. That's bullshit. Okay. Ain't nobody looking.
Everybody just kind of covers up for each other and says, yeah,
You always pay attention, Sweet Jones, because your neighbors are weird. I understand that. I understand that. But this ain't that type of neighborhood. These houses ain't even that close together, you know. And if it was snowing like it was and he's laying in the snow covered with snow, are you going to see him? I mean, he ain't a reflector.
No, it happened.
There are two sides, obviously, to this story.
You said you wouldn't know if a body was in your yard unless the dog drug it up to you. Exactly. Look at the Kansas City Three. That dudes were dead in his backyard. He never looked out the window. All right. He never even looked outside. Their keys, wallets, and everything. He never even looked outside. He walked outside, went to work, walked right past their cars and didn't know they were dead in his house.
Battle of the experts inside a court. We see battle of the experts all the time. To me, this doesn't sound like it's an area that it should be a battle, right? Are we interpreting the what is being downloaded from the phone? We're interpreting that, or is, I mean, to me, it does. This is an area that should be a little more.
Donna, every time my mother sees a trash bag on the side of the road, she thinks it's a dead body. She ain't the only one. If it's in the road or like, you know, not in a neighborhood, like every time I see a trash bag, like on the interstate or like where there's highways, I always think somebody slung out a body too, right? Because there ain't no trash, there ain't nowhere for you to take trash, or, you know, there ain't no houses around. So why would there be a bag of trash on the interstate? So I usually think that too, but that's noticeable because it's out of place. But in a neighborhood where there's trash cans and things like that's not out, it's not the normal. You don't pay, it don't stand out to you. Usually when you notice something, it's because it stands out to you.
Black and white. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that this is going to be a battle of experts. So So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see on that. There was one other issue about what this data is going to say.
The data is going to say this lawyer has terrible internet reception. She needs to search. This lawyer needs to search how long to get a better camera so I'm not blurry as shit on screen. Okay, that's what you need to search there, lawyer. How long to get another camera?
Evidence that whoever had the phone is walking around or not walking around. Jennifer, your thoughts on that area, that it seems that this Apple Health data will.
Yeah, I mean, they're putting these kids on the stand. I don't know if if it's something that needs to be done, to be honest, if these kids need to be up there, because I mean, the kids didn't witness nothing at that point, but they will get up there to say that, hey, John O'Keefe was, in the process of wanting to break up with this woman. And I think that's important for the jury to hear, that they were already having problems before this happened. All right. Cause they're trying to sell that, she did this on purpose. They need to prove that, hey, she was trying to have an affair, which she was, that John O'Keefe didn't want to be with her anymore, and that she had a reason to do it. Now, I think that is a better reason to being a skank hoe, is a better reason than police killing you for nothing. Okay, listen, let me ask you honestly. Do you think you got better chances of being killed by the police for nothing or killed by a stank hoe for nothing? Let me tell you, the odds of you getting killed by a stank hoe, some bougie ass stank hoe, is better. All right. It's better. It's better. All right. You got to watch these boozy ass stank hoes that be cheating, grinding, don't like your kids. Terrible person. Terrible, terrible. And like I said, these people that support this, cheating, lying to John O'Keefe, y'all got some issues. Y'all have some issues. Look, Dolly ain't mad at you. You can be brainwashed all you want. It ain't my problem, right? It ain't my problem. I ain't drink that Boston Kool-Aid. I didn't. I'm more of a sweet tea drinker. You know what I'm saying? When you drink sweet tea, you don't join a cult. Okay? Not one glass of sweet tea yet. I drank this tea. I didn't see Jim Jones one time. Okay? Didn't see Jim Jones one time. Oh, I'll tell you, like the lady told the people during the Jim Jones days, I don't think I should unalive myself because of some crazy ass white people. Okay? That's what she said. That was her last words. And then she drank the damn Kool-Aid anyway. Woman, you should have listened to yourself. Okay? I don't know how many of y'all have listened to the Jim Jones sermon. Okay? I have. And it is hard. Okay? It is hard to listen to. Listening to all them people be brainwashed and to lose their lives like they did. Now, if everybody would just listen to the one old ass black woman that was like, I don't want to do this shit because some crazy ass white people, y'all should have listened to the old black woman, right? Hey, anytime an old black woman talks, I'm listening. Okay, I'm gonna listen to the old black woman. I ain't listening to your crazy ass white people that like to join cults. Why don't you ever see black people in cults? Except for the Jim Jones, there was black people in that, but for the most part, you don't ever see no brainwashed ass black people. Jim Jones was good. Okay, he was able to brainwash black people. You usually don't see that. Usually, serial killers, cult members, is always some crazy ass white people. I'm just being honest. Just being honest. You're more likely to be in a cult if you're a white person. Just saying.
Will be very significant here. And that may be, I think, more up to interpretation than like a timestamp.
Well, the Apple Health data is not going to be as reliable as the digital forensics from his phone. And that forensics is going to show that no, there were no steps taken or anything else. It's going to be that it was there and underneath them as was found.
Melanie, what do you
Jim Jones coward. He didn't drink the Kool-Aid himself. Okay. He didn't drink it himself. He was shot. He was on his front porch. They believe he had somebody else shoot him because he couldn't do it himself. And he just wanted to take everybody with him. He was drugged out of his mind. Okay. So that's a hard one, right? That is a hard one. The whole Jim Jones thing. That is probably one of the most tragic events ever to happen, right? Or allowed. And it was almost stopped. If they would, it was almost stopped, but a little too late, just a little bit late on it, right? Just a little, when they start shooting people trying to leave on the plane. And here's the thing, the people that didn't drink, there was people found in the Jim Jones situation that were shot in the back. They tried to flee. Some of them people did try to run. Everybody acts like everybody just drank the Kool-Aid. No, some people did try to run and they were gunned down. There was no, it wasn't willingly. So many people think the Jim Jones thing was willingly. It definitely was not willingly. These people didn't all just want to unalive themselves. Some of them did. Some of them believed his rhetoric, right? They believed him that they're going to come kill us. They're going to rape our babies. They're going to do all these horrible things. Some people believed him. He had brainwashed these people. But some people didn't believe him. And they tried to run. Right then, when they started shooting people, I wouldn't have drank the Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? They would have had to shoot me in the back. I would not take my life behind somebody else telling me to do it. Right. And believe it or not, it is not hard to brainwash people. It's not. It's like we see cults forming all the time. Like I've been watching documentaries right now on different cults. Guru cults, the dudes that were in what was one? Heaven's Gate. Remember Heaven's Gate? Tom CPU looks just like the guy from Heaven's Gate. Right? I don't know how Turtle Boy became the leader, but Tom looks just like the dude from Heaven's Gate. One day I even pulled a picture of Tom up and I put it up here, and then I pulled up a picture of the dude from Heaven's Gate. Y'all remember them that thought the Hellbot comet, they had to unalive themselves to catch the comet, right? And these were smart, intelligent people, lawyers, computer programmers, not big old dum-dums. Stupid people never join a cult, right? We're dumb enough to know to stay the fuck away from you people. Smart people, intelligent people, y'all get sucked into this new age shit so quick. Like, oh yeah, this is, and bam, next thing you know, you damn Scientology, you jumping on Oprah's couch like Tom Cruise. That's what being too smart will do to you. You're so smart, you're dumb as hell. All right. I'll stay dumb and cult free. Okay. Because dumb people, you won't see one dumbass in a cult. Facts. Facts.
What are your thoughts about the Apple Health data? I think you're going to have the defense saying that there's evidence that he's taking steps. He's taking 80 steps. The other side obviously is going to have a different interpretation.
I would submit to you that Apple data is pretty reliable, and that they have him climbing the equivalent of 3 flights of stairs.
What did they live on the 3rd floor? Okay. What did they live on the 3rd floor? They live in a ranch with a downstairs basement area, right? So what did he go downstairs to the 1st floor, to the 2nd floor? So it's 3 floors total. It's the top story, the bottom floor, and then they have a basement area that goes down into the house. So a lot of people believe that, he was in the basement and they removed the floor. Well, of course they upgraded the house when they sold it. They did some repairs to the house. As soon as they did some repairs, they had to be covering something up, right? And why can't it be a drunk woman ran her boyfriend over? Right? Y'all see her drunk as shit at the bar drinking. Listen, and they all testified, split level. I guess that's what you call it. Thank you, Heaven. Thank you. You see her drinking on at the bar. She, you know, people, these Turtle Rider people, they try to say, well, she was buying everybody drinks. They wasn't all for her. Well, she never went up there and bought 8 at one time. She was getting them 1 at a time. And the other people testified, hey, we were drinking beer. Okay. Or I was drinking this. I don't drink that. So she wasn't buying these drinks for somebody else. All right. She was buying those drinks for herself. So it's you sitting there screaming she's innocent. She's definitely not innocent of DUI. And if you're saying she is, you're stupid. Okay. You're absolutely damn dumb. You look, let me drink 8 drinks. You stand behind my car. Okay. If that shit ain't DUI, I ain't standing here. I guarantee you I'd run over everybody in Canton. You put 8 of vodkas and sodas in me, and I guarantee you I'll be on murder trial just like damn Karen Reed. It may be even worse. I might hit a lot of people and do a lot of harm. You know what I'm saying? And I know that. So for people to think she can sit around and drink 8 drinks and then she continued to drink and drive, she guilty as hell. You can't convince me otherwise. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. If she walks, I'll be like, damn, right? I was wrong. But listen, guys, let's be honest. How many times am I wrong? I mean, if we just run back my stuff, how many times am I wrong? I'm right way more than I am wrong. Way more. And I hate to say it, I think I'm right on this one. You know, I know some of y'all disagree. I ain't mad at you for disagreeing with me. Right? You listen, you got your own minds out there. I'm just trying to, you know, tell you why I think she's guilty and why she's going to be convicted. To me, real justice would be she goes to prison, right? Real justice would be she goes to prison. Now, I ain't stupid, right? I may be dumb, but I ain't stupid. I know this woman got money. I know her daddy got money. And she does have 2 really good lawyers. They're annoying as shit, but they are good lawyers. There is the possibility she could walk, right? But that's only because of green privilege. A lot of people in this country think there's white privilege, right? No, that's a fairy tale. What there is in this country is green privilege. It don't matter if you white, black, purple, or blue. If you got the Benjamins, if you got the ducats, they're like, fuck it. It's just what it is. I'm figuring this lady is going to buy herself out of trouble. Yeah, we live in a country. Money talks, bullshit walks. I told PJ that. I said, PJ, she's going to walk. She got money. They don't got a lot on her. She got support. She's going to walk. Don't matter if she did it. The judge needs some new golf clubs. That lady. I don't know if she golfs. She may need some, I don't know what hobby she could have. What hobbies does that judge look like she has? It looks like she's a mean ass lady too. But, you know, most part, the judge is going to pocket some money. The lawyers are going to pocket some money. And you're going to walk.
After he got out of Karen Reed's car. Here's another issue that they're going to have is with these Google searches, you can't use them as a shield and a sword. Brian Walsh is also being tried in the same county in Massachusetts. And a huge part of that case is going to be the Google searches that he made after he allegedly disposed of his wife. So,
yeah, but in his case, the times may be right. He made a Google search a different way. You see what I'm saying? This woman did this, and she did it at this time. There's experts that say that this can happen. Now, that other case is a totally different case, lady. You can't, that's like comparing apples to oranges. It's 2 different things. Okay? This is an apple. This is an orange. Just because the same program is used, different circumstances, different results.
So the Commonwealth is going to have a real problem if they think in Brian Walsh's case that those Google searches are going to be accurate and the timestamps on those are going to be accurate. But hey, in Karen Reed's case, they're not going to be accurate.
Peter Elkin, I'll give you the final word tonight.
Yeah, but there's different circumstances. What's her name? Melanie Little? Melanie. There's different circumstances. You got to know that, right?
You're up in Boston. You're in Massachusetts. I started this whole hour talking about Sacco and Vanzetti. Do you think we'll have a similar outcome here?
Yeah, I think that there's a reason why the public, and you've mentioned this in other nights too, why the public is so championing her, and she's getting.
They're not. That's where y'all spread misinformation, Vinny. Vinny, y'all spread misinformation. Canton is a big ass place. It's a big ass place. You act like it's one block and that's the courthouse and everybody's there. Okay, they're not. There's thousands and thousands of people in that town. Thousands. You got 100 people in front of the courthouse. That is not the majority of Canton supporting Karen Reed. Listen, I met plenty of people from that town that said she's guilty as shit. All right. The Turtle Riders, they're out there. Okay. Of course, they're going to say she's innocent. Step outside of them. Balk to anybody else in that whole town and ask them about Karen Reed and see what they say. If they all supported her, they would all be out there. They're not. They're definitely not. Now, if you gathered the people that didn't support Karen Reed, it'd be way more people. It'd be way more people that didn't support her than did in that town. Okay. I think the people in that town, they want justice for John O'Keefe. You don't think they see them people booing the mother of a fallen police officer? You don't think they see that? Poor people go to jail. Middle class go broke. Rich people go home. I've seen this for years. CBC, you are absolutely 100% without a doubt correct. Okay. You poor, you're going to jail. You middle class, you'll go broke, you'll get out of it. You rich, you don't even go to court. Listen, if you got the money, you're walking. Simple as that. You got enough money, you don't even got to go to court. I hate to use myself as an example. Okay. You didn't see Dolly had to step. I had a good ass lawyer. I don't know who he paid. Okay. All I know is he said, give me my money. Your ass ain't got to be here ever. So and then the internet was like, Dolly going to jail, Dolly going to jail, Dolly going to jail. I knew from the very day one, I wasn't going to even have to go to court. And he said, give my money. You ain't never even got to come back. I was like, shit, here's your money. And let's do this. You know what I'm saying? I never walked in front of a judge. I never stepped inside a courthouse. I never stepped inside the damn place at all. Never even went back to Georgia. Money talks. Bullshit walks. My case was bullshit. Money did the talking. Dolly did the walking. I mean, it's as simple as that. Now, let me tell you this. If I was broke, dead ass broke, hey, I might have went to jail. It might have been a different story. They would have had me hemmed up down there in Georgia and all that. But no, I had some good people behind me to jump that were watching me here, right? They were millionaires, and they came to my rescue. They're like, oh, we ain't letting that shit go down like that. You know what I'm saying? And they got Dolly free. And that just showed, listen, I had no bond. By the time this millionaire hits that phone and says, yo, I want Dolly out of jail, Dolly instantly had a bond. I went from no bond to 20 minutes later, I had a bond, and they couldn't get me out of jail fast enough. We live in a world, I hate to say it, money rules everything around you. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. All right. Wu-Tang forever. All right. The Wu-Tang didn't make that up. They didn't make that up. They knew money ruled everything. And that sucks because, you know, A poor person commit the same crime that a rich person commits, and they're going to jail, and they're going to suffer for it. While a rich person just ain't enough. Here's your money. The justice system's broken. It's been broken, in like pieces.
Applause, and she's getting and the town
$1
meeting
bills, y'all.
where they all voted to do an audit of the police department, and the public sentiment is clearly on her side, and that's so unusual. And I think there's a reason for that. That there's just so much reasonable doubt here, and there's
So just in case you don't forget, I keep the little Wu-Tang thing with me. I don't know if y'all can see that because of my green screen, right? The Wu-Tang, even a keychain, Wu-Tang. Cream, get the money. $1 bills, y'all. All right. Money rules everything in this world. It sucks. I hate it. I hate the fact that that's the case, that some people don't get a fair shot.
there's so much evidence showing her innocence that I think that's the reason why this is an unprecedented situation.
We shall see.
Where she's got so much support.
We are out of time for tonight. Jennifer Koffendorfer, Melanie Little, Peter Ellikin, experts, all of them. Thank you.
Okay, so still, these kids are on the stand. Let's see what Court TV got up. Witness identity withheld still. Okay, so right now, we still don't have nothing. The kids are testifying in court. Cops I knew made $325 a year, $325,000 a year easy. I don't know no cop that makes over $40,000 a year. The police around here don't make any money. Like, honestly, I think sometimes, like, why would you want to be a police officer? One, it's the most dangerous job next to damn, what is it, Alaskan king crabbing that you can get. People hate the police, don't trust the police. I don't hate the police because I'm not a criminal. You know what I'm saying? If I was a criminal, I'd probably hate the police. I really support the police. Truly. I don't like it when they messing with me, of course. Nobody does. But far as keeping the streets clean, I support the men in blue, man. I want to be able to go to the store without getting shot, just like everybody else. We got to support our police, and when they're booing these cops and they're just making up these things. Listen, there are bad cops in this world, but all cops ain't bad. I've had cops really help me. We're back. We're back in the court. We got audio. I just heard it come on. Awesome. The kids, they got through the kids quick. Or this audio ain't supposed to be on. All right, court's back in session. We heard that.
All right, Mr. Lally, your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The Commonwealth call Dr. Justin Rice to the stand.
Man, I wish I could have heard those kids. We are back. Pray for them kids, guys. Definitely. Prayers for John O'Keefe and his family. It's a shame that these people out there in Canton have treated you guys like that. When she's found guilty, y'all come up to me outside the court and let me give you a big hug, man. Prayers for your family. I'm sorry, guys. If nobody's apologized for you to the way these people have treated you guys, sorry that y'all are being treated like that. There's really good people in this world, and the people outside that court just ain't them.
The case out here is for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. Thank you. Take this.
All right, Mr. Lally, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
Could you please state your name and spell your last
I
name?
support all good police too.
My name is Justin Rice, RICE. Is that what you asked me to spell?
And sir, that microphone in front of you, however you want to position that, it's flexible. So it's
Too far away. Is that better?
That's perfect. Thank you. And what do you do for work, sir?
I'm an emergency medicine physician.
And how long have you been doing that?
I finished my residency in 2008, so I've been attending since 2008.
And where is it that you work now?
My current employer is South Shore Health.
And how long have you been working for South Shore Health?
I started there in October of this past year, 2023.
And where did you work prior to that?
Before that, I had been full-time at Good Samaritan Hospital in Brockton.
And how long was it that you worked at Good Samaritan?
Let's see. I started at Good Samaritan in 2010.
Now, sir, if I could, I'd like to just talk a little bit about your educational background. Where did you go to school as far as your undergrad was concerned?
I went to undergraduate at the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia.
And what, if any, degrees did you graduate from there?
Oh, shout out to William and Mary.
Science in chemistry.
That's my stomping ground.
Following your graduation from there, where did you go to school after that?
So after that, I attended University of Virginia for medical school. Is that what you asked me? I'm sorry.
And following your graduation from medical school, where did you go after that?
Then I did a emergency medicine residency in Philadelphia at University of Pennsylvania.
And what is a residency?
So residency is several years of training that's where doctors will specialize. For me in emergency medicine, some people choose to be surgeons, pediatricians. That's when more of the specialization, if you will, happens in medicine, medical training.
And how long was your residency?
It was 4 years.
And following your residency, where did you go from there?
So I, in 2008, finished residency. I worked for 2 years in Manassas, Virginia at Prince William Hospital.
So he spent a lot of time in VA. Yeah, that's my stomping grounds. Manassas.
I am by
Williamsburg.
American Board of Emergency Medicine, yes.
And what is it that you're board certified in?
Specifically emergency medicine.
And when you use that term as far as board certification is concerned, what goes into that? What does that entail?
So when I obtained board certification, it was a two-step process where there was a written exam
Your happiness.
administered at one of the testing centers. And after you pass that, then there's an in-person oral exam, I guess is what they're called. And as where you've given like didactic or individual cases, assuming you pass that, then you're board certified.
And your board certification is up to date currently?
Yes.
Now,
804-757 Amy.
Time that you worked at Good Samaritan.
Awesome.
As far as the emergency department is
Guys, if
concerned,
you're just tuning in, like this video. Let's try to get the likes up a little bit.
the emergency department at Good Samaritan.
I know court's boring as hell.
Bedding, sort of layout, like describe that for the jury.
Sure. So at the time and currently, there's
Tyson's Corner.
36 treatment rooms in the main ER.
Sweetie.
A lot of hallway stretchers as well.
Baby kisses, thank you.
There's also an express care kind of area, but
you party
for
with
the purposes
Karen
of
Reed.
this conversation. 36 beds in the main ER. Staffing wise, there'd be anywhere between
Love William and Mary.
4 to 5 and 12 nurses. And for the purposes of this discussion, it would have been 2 docs on, and probably one either nurse practitioner or physician assistant in the morning.
And as far as the morning, what I'm going to turn your attention to is the morning of January 29th, 2022. Were you working at the Good Samaritan on that day?
If that's the morning of this incident, then yes. Yeah.
And is there a particular shift, or what kind of hours would you be working around that time at Good Samaritan?
I'm pretty sure I started my shift at 6 a.m. that day. There was a 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. It was either 2 or 3 to, excuse me. It was either 6 to 2 or 6 to 3 p.m., but the shift would have started at 6 a.m. as I recall.
And on that date at Good Samaritan, do you recall becoming involved with a treatment of a patient by the name of John O'Keefe?
Yes.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
All right. So this is one of the physicians. So the kids just got done testifying, and we didn't get to hear none of that. And that was probably the good stuff. So we're not going to get much today.
I'm showing you a document. If you could just take a look at that and look up anything.
The rest of these witnesses should go pretty fast.
You want me to look through each page or just
3-1
acknowledge
New
that?
York,
Just as far as,
baby.
do you recognize what that document is?
Yes, of course.
And what do you recognize that to be?
So it looks like is a
Born with Dolly.
transcription
Thank you,
or a
Margie.
copy of the medical chart that I would have produced or dictated. And on the front page is also a, it's called like a code sheet, which the nurses would have put together and I would have signed off on, detailing what resuscitative efforts, as in the specific details and timing of the resuscitative efforts that were performed on Mr. O'Keefe's behalf.
Thank you.
16-year-old nonverbal boy missing in Florida. Search going on now.
Yes.
And Your Honor, what I would seek to introduce in a minute, the next exhibit would be a redacted copy of those same records.
Yeah, we got a young man, 35-year-old man missing in the same place Riley Strand went missing also. So I have to check into that 16-year-old boy missing in Florida. I haven't seen that yet. I do know about the man missing in the same area that Riley Strand went missing. And we are going to be down there very shortly. So if he's still missing, maybe we can take some part in helping in that search while we're down there, the Turtle Crew. We'll find out here just in like a day or two. So, okay. So now, right now, it's quiet time. They went to the sidebar to discuss something. Karen Reed, look at this woman. Look at her face. Just look at her face. If that shit don't look guilty to you, she looks mad at the world. I could not be with an angry woman like that. Okay. I could not be with somebody that angry. Like, she hated this man. I truly believe she hated John O'Keefe. She didn't like him. She didn't care about him. She was using that man just for whatever she needed. And then she had planned on just effing him over. F the kids, He's trying to find, a nice woman to be a family with that they could grow together with. And he thought this was the woman, right? He totally thought this was the woman. And he picked, did he not see her resting bitch face? Or did she fake it when they first met? Act all happy. And then when you get alone and sit in the house where she's just some mean, wretched ass stank hoe. Because that's what I'm seeing. That may be a different opinion, you guys. I just think she's a skank hoe. Stank hoe. You don't do that to somebody. You don't do that stuff. I mean, you can leave a person, you have that right to leave a person, but then you don't kill them. If you didn't want to be with them, don't kill them.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Lally, I'll let you hold on to what's been marked SS for identification.
Yeah, she meant it. She hated this man. You can tell by what she was saying to her lover, her wannabe lover, Brian Higgins.
Now, Dr. Rice, with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, about what time
What
did he
is
come
that
into
lady
your facility,
breathing?
Good Samaritan?
Guys, hold on.
Would you like me to?
Let me pause this. Does anybody know what that lady is breathing into? That little thing that she holds up to her mouth. Does anybody know what that is? Hey, what's up, Richmond? VA in the house, baby. As y'all know, we broadcast from the 757 Virginia. So shout out to my Virginia people in the room. Real quick, guys, I want y'all to do this too. I want you to give the video a like, and I want you to shout out where you're watching from. Time to represent your city, your town, your hood. Let me see it, beautiful people.
How would you describe his presentation?
I like the video first.
So he would have been, he was unresponsive and intubated, as in with a breathing tube.
I've never seen
into
that.
his airway via his mouth.
And as he came into the emergency department, what, if anything, was fixed in regard to CPR or other resuscitative efforts?
So he would have had
I usually see court
CPR
reporters
in
typing.
progress.
Roll Tide, Illinois, Louisiana,
And
Canada,
also someone would have been ventilating his lungs via the endotracheal tube.
Tennessee, North Carolina,
Now, there's mention within that record as far as a cardiac arrest.
Michigan's in the house, Surf City, Wyoming, South Carolina.
I don't know. I'm
Well,
sorry. I don't understand what you're asking me.
Sure. Well, let me just ask you, familiar with the term
Oklahoma,
cardiac arrest?
Yes.
Can you describe to the jury?
court
based on
reporter.
your
Okay, guys, thank you.
experience, what your
Indiana,
understanding of that term is?
Sure. So, as in he arrived
Wisconsin,
with
Texas.
in cardiac arrest, which by definition means that his heart was not autonomously or independently pumping blood, or in his case, without electrical activity as well of the heart.
Waco, Texas.
And are
Good
you
Lord.
familiar with another term called perfusion?
Long
Yes.
Island,
And can you explain what perfusion is and how that relates to
Rhode Island.
cardiac arrest?
Sure. So, for example, you and I right now, because our heart is autonomously, pumping blood, the heart is the pump and responsible for pushing blood throughout your body, therefore perfusing your body. In a scenario like this, where a patient
Seattle's in
is
the house, Mississippi, Bama,
in cardiac arrest
Korea.
or asystole, or as in not having any electrical activity in his heart or mechanical activity of his heart, the perfusion that is happening is by CPR, as in the chest being pushed upon, indirectly is you call
Ohio,
it maybe indirectly pumping or moving blood flow. So there is perfusion, but in a significantly limited compared to someone not in cardiac arrest.
And as far as that perfusion process is concerned, what, if any, relation does that have to the organs within the body?
Well, so if your perfusion is limited, then your organs are not getting the normal amount of blood flow and therefore oxygen and all the other nutrients that your blood is providing. So your organs will
shut
begin
down.
the process of failure.
Even I know that.
You use the term in there as far as asystole. Could you explain to the jury what you understand that term to mean?
Sure. So
Louisiana's in the
asystole
house.
would be when you put the electrical leads on a patient's heart. The complete absence of intrinsic electrical activity from the heart would be asystole. So as in not having any observable or detectable electrical activity would be asystole.
Now, as far as these conditions, as far as cardiac arrest and asystole, what, if any, concerns does that raise from a
Ireland's in the house.
perspective in relation to Mr. O'Keefe?
I guess your question with respect to it from a diagnostic perspective, I
Ugh.
don't know exactly what you're asking me there.
Let me rephrase that. So with regard to those conditions that are observed and noted within the medical chart for Mr. O'Keefe that you have before you, how would that relate to?
Yeah, he was dead when he got there. They're keeping him alive. Nova Scotia's in the house.
What, if anything, you're doing treatment-wise?
Well, so
You don't like jail.
even
Nobody
with
does.
good CPR, the perfusion of the brain, for example, and this is what I think about frequently during resuscitative efforts like this, as in, I couldn't tell you an exact time, but there's a certain, without perfusion of the brain for a certain amount of time, you're limited with respect to, well, the concern is that the patient, even if you resuscitate their body, that there's potentially going to be brain death or anoxia or lack of oxygen to the brain, and a poor outcome with respect to neurological outcome.
Now, as far as the resuscitative efforts are concerned, is there any sort of standard sort of resuscitative protocols that would be undergone with someone who presents as Mr. O'Keefe did?
Yes.
And can you explain what those are?
So, you know, in broad terms, there's ACLS, which is Advanced Cardiac Life Support. That's an algorithm that through medical training, you know, I've learned and is frequently, the algorithm can be adjusted. There's also a ATLS for trauma patients. So there's an algorithm there with respect to resuscitation or guidelines, I guess, with respect to resuscitation.
And within those sort of guidelines or protocols, are you familiar with a medication called epinephrine?
Yes.
And how would epinephrine play into sort of the
That's like adrenaline, ain't it?
diagnosis of Mr. O'Keefe?
So, you know, in the time that I've been practicing, epinephrine is probably the only medication or drug that has persistently been in the ACLS pathway. It's adrenaline. So the idea is loosely that you're attempting to affect upon the heart itself more squeeze, as in more pressure, and
I don't
also
think
to increase the potential, or if there is electrical activity, to increase the amplitude of that.
I think here I want to answer this question. Let me cut this down for a second because it's just a doctor talking. Karen did try to save him. She was the first person to take off his clothes and try to warm his body and resuscitate him. She wouldn't have done that if she was guilty. No, she could have done that if she was guilty. I don't think she wanted him to die. I think she was drunk and tried to hit him, and then she realized, and then she tried to do what she could do to save him. Now, I'm one of those people that believe she should be charged with manslaughter because it's hard to show intent. I said the same thing. If she really wanted him dead, she would have never even went back. Okay? So it's a hard sell.
By rectal temperature.
Right in time for the ass
Explain to the
temperature.
jury sort of your understanding as far as hypothermia, what is it and how does that present itself?
So, you know, as it pertains to this case, there's a few ways to get hypothermic. If I at 12:20 were to have a cardiac arrest right now and stop perfusing, my current temperature of, you know, my current temperature, I'm guessing, is 98.6, right? A normal temperature. Without perfusion, the body will lose, or excuse me, the core temperature will decrease over time. The specifics of that I couldn't, or beyond my knowledge and training, but does that answer your question?
Yes. And so as far as hypothermia is concerned, is there a certain sort of baseline or what is sort of the typical temperature under which someone would be declared sort of hypothermic or treated as such?
I don't know if I could give you a definition of medically what a quote diagnosis of hypothermia. I couldn't
Oh,
tell you a
gee,
number.
girl. Gail, I agree.
I can tell you that 80 qualifies as hypothermia, but I couldn't tell you a number under which that definition applies.
But the temperature that Mr. O'Keefe presented with certainly fits within those parameters. Is that correct?
Yes, 80 degrees is very cold.
And as far as resuscitative efforts as they pertain to the core body temperature or the low core body temperature of Mr. O'Keefe, what, if anything, was done with relation to treatment of that?
Oh, we're here back.
Sure.
Gail.
So
I'm here with you.
as the nursing note,
You're welcome.
Mentions
You got your mystery box today, huh?
A bear hugger was applied, so that's a
DollySoap.com,
blanket that
baby.
has warmed air being pumped through it, so that's a way of externally warming someone. He also, having reviewed the chart earlier, I don't see it right in front of you. Actually, I take that back. He had warm IV fluids running, so IV fluids not at room temperature, as in a warm or an oven of sorts, would have been given to him via intravenous or
We had a warm IV.
central venous access.
So they heated up his IV because he was so cold.
And as far as the body temperature is concerned, what if any relationship does the body temperature have?
The man in
with the
PA has been
process
found.
to
Which
a
man?
Declaration of deceased in relation to Mr.
Well, so there's a goal in resuscitative medicine
Thank you,
to
Deborah.
attempt to rewarm a body. Loosely, the idea being
Okay, PJ.
that the heart, among other organs, will function better or function at all in a warmer environment. That's one goal of resuscitation. With him, as I recall,
This is the
despite,
kid missing.
resuscitative efforts for approximately half an hour, there was not
This young man.
not a significant
In Florida.
warming of his core temperature.
And so, sir, with reference to Mr. O'Keefe, at some point, was he pronounced deceased by yourself?
Yes.
And do you see any indication within the chart as to what time that was?
Sure. I'll just need this moment here. According to my note, it looks like the time of death was death declaration was 7:50 in the morning.
Is that 50 or
50.
Now, as far as the observations that you made as far as a systole and the cardiac arrest, did that persist throughout the course of your treatment of Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
Let me just see that document. Direct your attention to what's the fourth page in, bottom of it says 204, and I direct your attention to the top of that page. Do you see that, sir?
Yes.
And as far as this is sort of a listing of observations, or, well, let me ask you, can you describe what is listed at the top of that page there?
Sure. So this would have been the physical exam documentation of my note. So, with respect to the head, it says, excuse me, the first word is other, which I believe is a function of the computer system. As in, I typed in there right superior orbital ridge region, approximately 7 millimeter laceration, and then with surrounding soft tissue swelling / contusion.
To his head.
There, as far as what you're talking about with the right superior orbital ridge region, could you explain to the jury or demonstrate to the jury?
Sure. So the orbital ridge is the bone above your eye that you can, like, where your eyebrow is or should, would normally be.
And as far as the other sort of things that you noted over the course of your physical exam or review of Mr. O'Keefe.
Horrible way to die. Yes.
Well, according to my note, the only other kind of observations other than would be that he had breath sounds present bilaterally. I observed that he was pulseless. His abdominal exam was atraumatic on my chart, and then extremity exam or musculoskeletal exam, I wrote that he had superficial abrasions on the right forearm.
And from a medical perspective, when you use that term abrasions, so can you explain to the jury what you understand the term abrasions to mean?
Yeah, I use it as a medical synonym for scratches, if you will.
And under neuro or neurological, there's a listing as far as a GC3, is that correct?
Yes.
And can you explain what that is and what that means?
So GC is what I charted. What I intended to write there was GCS, which is a Glasgow Coma Scale, which is a scoring system to identify someone's level of consciousness or unresponsiveness.
And as far as the three, what is like, where does the scale start? Where does it go to, and where does the three fit in?
So there's three components: verbal function, motor function, and eye or ocular function. And someone who's completely unresponsive, as in no motor, no verbal, and no eye movement or function, completely unresponsive. The lowest you can get on the scale is 3.
Thank you, sir. May I approach Sister Retreat?
Yes.
Now, later on over the course of that same morning, did you have occasion to become involved in the treatment of another patient by the name of Karen Reed?
Yes.
And may I approach the witness again, Your Honor?
Yes.
So I'm showing you another document, just ask you to look at that. To the extent you can recognize it and look up whenever you finish. In general, sir, do you recognize what that is?
Yes.
Or what do you recognize it to be?
The first part I recognized would have been the medical record or medical note with respect to Miss Reed, who was also a patient that morning.
Thank you. Your Honor, the Commonwealth seeks to introduce in a minute the next exhibit or redact a copy of those records.
Regarding no objections, subject to the redactions.
Okay, thank you. Exhibit 106. Thank you.
Now, sir, if you know, about what time was it that Miss Reed came into the emergency department at Good Samaritan that morning?
I mean, I can tell you from this chart, it looks like that at least the first posted vital signs were from 7:51, 5:1 in the morning.
And in reference to Miss Reed, what is it that she came into Good Samaritan in regard to? Why was she there?
I'd have to review Daisy's note. So
well, let me ask you this, sir. Was it in reference to Section 12? Do you recall?
yes.
And with regard to Section 12, patients that come in regard to that, what kind of involvement do you have, or who, if anyone, do you work with in regard to those types of patients?
Sure. So Section 12, I would define as an involuntary detention of a person, usually for a mental health concern, whether that's self-harm or harm to others, or if someone who's afflicted with schizophrenia or psychosis, members of the public can bring someone to the police, or members of the public can bring someone to the hospital on a Section 12, which again, involuntarily detains them for evaluation.
And in addition to yourself, is there other staff? You mentioned that there were physician's assistants or nurses that were working. How much involvement would you typically have with someone who comes in on that kind of prognosis or diagnosis?
I would say, to answer your question, my involvement is variable and dependent a lot of times on what that nurse practitioner or physician assistant feels like they need or want my involvement to be.
And what kind of involvement would you have as far as when someone comes in with that kind of issue? What is sort of the typical protocol or policies that Good Samaritan would undergo with reference to that patient? What are you doing with reference to the patient when they arrive?
I'm sorry, I think I don't really understand what the question is.
No, understood. Let me rephrase that. So with regard to a patient coming in on a Section 12, what happens with that person once they present in the ER?
So whether they're evaluated by me or a nurse practitioner or physician assistant, if that person feels like, based on their evaluation, that they need a mental health consult or evaluation, then they would have that initiated, as well as what we do for a lot of patients, or all patients, vital signs, and sometimes blood work as well.
And when it comes to that sort of blood work or assay, as far as what's being done with someone who comes in with that kind of report, what is sort of being tested and what is being looked at as far as the blood work is concerned?
Well, there's a few reasons to get blood work, but in general, part of the evaluation is, with respect to the medical presentation, to make sure there's no medical emergencies present, in addition to whatever the mental health concern may be. There's also blood work drawn with respect to disposition, as far as some people, for example, it would be inappropriate to have a mental health evaluation if, for example, I were intoxicated on alcohol and my alcohol level were elevated, because I think the idea is that you're not getting, a true representation maybe of what's going on.
So am I correct in that someone presents and then there's you medically clear that person as far as any sort of injuries or anything like that first?
I wouldn't say first necessarily. I think a lot of times these processes happen in parallel.
So in parallel, you have the medical clearance and then sort of psychological clearance as well?
Sometimes, yes.
And then sort of involved in both of those, there would be blood drawn and reference to a Section 12, as far as a typical one would be looking for sort of alcohol and drugs of abuse, things of that nature.
I mean, I'm hesitant to answer yes because of the word typical, because I wouldn't say there's really a typical presentation with respect to mental health presentations in the ER.
And from your memory and or your review of the chart, was that done as far as the blood work done with regard to Ms. Reed on this day?
Are you asking me if blood work was drawn?
Yes.
I believe so. I have to double check. So yes, it looks like there was blood work drawn.
And among the things that were tested within the facility within Good Samaritan was an alcohol screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is the result of that alcohol screen as contained within those records?
All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, PJ came
so it looks
in
like
real quick.
93.93. I'd have to maybe look deeper in the chart to tell you the units of that measurement. I don't want to guess. So, but to answer your question, 93.
Can I approach just briefly on?
Yes.
I mean, I don't see the importance of this, really. The doctor, I mean, the man died. We know what he died from. Why did they got to go over every single detail of his death like that?
I'm directing your attention to a pizza tap portion of that.
Sure.
Do you see the units that 93 contains?
PJ got to eat. That's
So,
true.
yes, it looks like it's milligrams per deciliter.
Thank you.
Let me mute this for a second. That's what PJ did too. She came in to get her lunch from her dinner last night. We had some really good chicken parm, and she had it in the fridge here. So she left work, came here to grab her lunch. So she just left again. So that's why I had to pause real quick on you guys.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Little?
Thank God. Keep it moving.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
You testified that you treated Ms. Reed when she arrived at the hospital on January 29th, correct?
I don't know if I testified that I treated her, but I was involved in her care. Yes,
You actually wrote the reports regarding her care, correct?
that is not correct.
Would it refresh your recollection to take a look at the report?
The report, I believe we're talking about the note, the emergency room note was written by a nurse practitioner.
Would it refresh your recollection to take a look at some additional reports from January 29th?
Sounds like you want to show me some reports, so sure.
Yeah, right. You came for the cheesecake. Oh, okay. That's what it was. Cheesecake mainly.
May I approach?
Yes.
Hey, Amanda.
Okay.
Share the cheesecake, right?
Is your recollection refreshed? Do you recall treating Ms. Reed on January 29th?
I do not.
Do you recall writing a report that has your name, Justin Rice, on it from January 29th?
No, it depends what you define report as. To best answer your, well, do I recall writing this?
Thank you,
No.
Amanda.
Is that what your question was?
So is it your testimony that do you recall treating Ms. Reed at all?
No, I don't.
Do you recall actually ordering her blood in this case?
No.
Do you recall sending it out to the labs at all?
No.
No. Not going to answer that for me. He just said he don't remember it.
Collected the blood?
That's correct.
You don't know who packaged the blood?
That would also be a fair assessment, yes.
And you don't know who submitted that to the lab?
Nope.
Correct.
And it wasn't you, correct?
I can confidently say that I did not like collect blood work.
You don't recall
no, I
nothing.
did
Send
not do
him
that.
home. That's right.
Okay.
I don't remember why I showed up at court today. This should be a quick interview. Look at Karen.
You testified that you treated Mr.
It wasn't me.
on January 29th, correct?
Yes.
Did a firefighter ever approach you on the morning of January 29th and tell you that he had information suggesting that the victim had been struck by a vehicle?
Objection.
Do you remember that?
I do not.
So if a firefighter indicated that he informed you that he had information suggesting that Mr. O'Keefe had been in some sort of vehicular accident, that's something that you would have included in your report?
You don't want to be left out.
I don't know if that's a fair assumption.
She was acting cray-cray.
But as you sit here today, you have no.
Look at her eyes. She's looking over at the family of John O'Keefe with that evil ass look. Old duck face ass.
Well, I think I don't have it in front of me, but I think my note that I prepared for
Lizard
Mr.
mouth.
O'Keefe states that
She's a
per EMS
shapeshifter. She can't hide her disgust.
Dr. Rice, you have no record.
She does have some big eyes. I know. Look at her looking over at them people. She looks like always mad. Like she's bothered she has to be there.
So I think what I was trying to say, right, was that on my note it says per EMS report. So one of the medics, as in one of the folks on the ambulance who brought Mr. O'Keefe in,
Botox slips.
Again, I'm not right in front of my note, but as I recall, it said something to the effect of per EMS report, the patient may have been struck by a vehicle.
Can I show you a copy of
Look at that
report?
smile. Oh my God. Why are you smiling, lady? You're on trial for murder. They're saying she's looking at her lawyer. Yeah, she's looking back there like she's looking at the lawyer, but she's looking over at the family. Oh, yeah, she was looking back at the attorney because there's John O'Keefe's brother, I think.
Yes.
Carol, I disagree. She's not innocent. She ain't even close to innocent. She's a skank hoe. She was cheating on this man, right? She was trying to get up with Brian Higgins.
I'll ask the question. Is your recollection refreshed?
Come on, Lo.
Yes.
Is there anywhere on that report that says that the patient came in and there was a statement by EMS?
Carol said you believe she was framed.
Appeared to have been struck by a vehicle.
Why frame her? Why frame her there, Carol? There's no reason to frame her. There's no motive to frame her. There's no reason for the police to kill John O'Keefe. She did it. That's why she looked so mad. That's why you don't see no tears from her. She couldn't fake a cry if she wanted to. I don't think Karen will take the stand. They will crush her if she gets on the stand.
That's correct.
There's too many injuries to be hit by a car. What? What do you think a car would do to you hitting you?
Mr. O'Keefe's injuries when he arrived at the hospital that morning?
Cheating doesn't make it don't help the fact that
I guess
she's
you'd have to
accused
define
of
what
it.
observe injuries means.
Well, during the course of your treatment, did
She
you
definitely wasn't framed.
So, yes.
You testified that you observed certain abrasions and scratches on his right arm, correct?
Y'all be on 4chan later.
Aside from his injuries to his right arm, and I believe he described sort of a laceration above his eye, John O'Keefe did not have a single other injury on his body from the neck down, correct?
I don't know if that's fair to say.
Well, you didn't report.
What, they
a
only
single
punched him
injury
in the
to his
head?
shoulders,
Nobody threw a body shot?
Correct.
You did not report a single injury to his chest, correct?
Correct.
You did not report a single injury to his torso, correct?
Correct.
You did not report a single injury to his back, correct?
Correct.
You also did not report a single injury to his ribs, correct?
Correct.
No injury to his hips, right?
Correct.
You observed no injury to his knees, correct?
I reported no injuries to his knees. Correct.
No injuries to his shins, correct?
Correct.
The injuries don't look like someone getting smashed, getting ran over. He didn't get ran over. He got hit
Injuries to his feet.
and hit his head.
Correct.
He didn't get ran over.
Did not have a single broken
He was
bone.
hit by a car. Ran over and hit by a car is two different things.
You certainly didn't notate in your report that he had any broken bones from the neck down, correct?
No, I did not. I'd happy to explain that, but to answer your question, no, I did not.
You did not report a single fracture from the neck down, correct?
I did not report a single fracture. Correct.
This happened in up near Boston.
The injuries that you testified to today.
Canton,
had
Massachusetts.
sort of a laceration above his eyelid, correct?
The injuries that I testified to today, correct, yes.
And the scratches on his right arm.
On the right forearm, yes.
Yeah, he got hit by a car. It knocked him down. He hit his head and he froze to death in the cold.
Dr. Rice, with reference to
Kool-Aid crew is here. Welcome, Kool-Aid. Y'all are welcome to be here. You don't have to agree with me.
Why that may not have been noted, or why that wasn't included within the chart?
Sure, yeah, I'd like to. So with a patient like Mr. O'Keefe who came in,
Kool-Aid crew.
The focus of myself and the team of
Common sense,
physician
never been
assistant,
a
nurse
cult either.
practitioner, and nurses, whoever was helping in a case like this, the focus is in core resuscitative medicine, of securing an airway,
Yeah,
making
he
sure
had
has
to
a
be
breathing
bent over,
tube in,
leaning
making sure
forward.
that the CPR is being applied the right pressure to the right place, making sure that the core resuscitative elements of medicine are happening, unless
Oh, I want to show you guys something. Give me a second.
as in the mind can only focus on so much. So I think in cases like this, because the attention is on resuscitation of someone's heartbeat, their life, there's less focus on injuries or observations that don't coincide with the resuscitation effort, or not pertinent to that resuscitative effort. If that answers if that answers your question.
So in that vein, it's not like you're doing x-rays or a full skeletal survey or something like that.
No, we're not doing a full skeletal survey. No.
Because you're more concerned with the fact that his body.
Okay, guys. I want to show y'all something real quick. I got to blow myself up to show you. I did the where's the baby shirts and hoodies.
Correct, unless there
I
was
want
an
y'all to see
extremity
these.
injury that would be pertinent to his resuscitation. If he had had a traumatic amputation, as in removal of a leg, for example, that would be pertinent to a resuscitation. But
Where's the baby at therealdollyvision.com?
extremity,
That's the shirt.
that
The
is
hoodies.
not necessarily within the realm of resuscitation.
Yes.
Get them while they hot. Get them while they hot. Buy dollysoap.com. Where's the baby?
It's discharge and clinical impression. If you could just read from that, look up on it. Read to yourself.
Yes, your hoodie is done. I got them done last night. The t-shirts and the hoodies. And I did them in the huge print. See how big the print is?
Sure, right. So I
Love
wrote,
it. Thank you, Ashley.
Clinical impression, cardiac arrest, head trauma, exposure to environmental cold.
No, I did a pink one too. I got a pink hoodie. I do custom colors. If you order it and let me know what color you want, I'll do it any color you want.
Thanks.
Oh, that was quick. There's the black hoodie. But yeah, like I did a pink hoodie this morning. Somebody wanted one in pink. It just takes a week longer if you want a different color, because I have to order that shirt. I only keep black shirts in stock.
Can we do an abbreviated lunch today so we can get as much of the testimony in as possible? So it's 10 minutes of 1. Why don't we come back here at 1:30?
1:30.
4:30 today. People seem to say yes. If that changes, just let Officer Delano or Officer Biden know. Okay, thank you. So we'll see you back here at 1:30.
All right, to the court, please.
You are muted.
Okay. So now they're taking lunch. They're going to go ahead and take them a lunch break. Let me blow this back up. And there's really nothing good going on. I pre-ordered black. Woo, woo. Yeah, if you ordered black, they're in. The pink hoodie I printed for the person that ordered the pink hoodie. Light pink too. It wasn't just, I had to find a light pink hoodie. So, but that's printed, ready to go. PJ's going to ship that today. So if you're waiting on a Where's the Baby shirt or a Turtle Gang shirt or hoodie, they will go out probably most likely today if PJ gets everything out today. So the case today, look, we had the doctor speak, Brian Higgins. It looks like, a lot of people think this lady's innocent and they think it's a conspiracy and a cover up. I just don't. Like, I don't hate any of y'all people that think Karen Reed's innocent. Just, I have my own opinions, just like you do. So, you know, I'll listen to your opinions on it, and y'all got to listen to mine. It's only fair, right? And some things in this world we just have to agree to disagree on. It's just that's what it is. But, you know, truly, I think Karen Reed is responsible. Drinking and driving is extremely dangerous. And this is one of those reasons you don't do it. Okay. And if you made a mistake and done it in the past, don't do it again, because you're lucky you didn't hurt somebody. Okay. Or hurt yourself. That's the important thing. Now, like I said, if you put 8 drinks in me, I'm liable to run over everybody in Boston. Everybody that's screaming she's innocent, you know she was drinking. Y'all know she was drunk. How can you sit there and say she's innocent? She's at least guilty of the DUI, right? Can we agree on that? Karen Reed supporters? Can we agree that she was DUI at least? Because y'all don't even want to admit nothing on it. Like, y'all act like the lady ain't did nothing, like she didn't have a sip of alcohol that night. Can we agree that she was drinking and driving? To the people that said, you know, she was, I don't hear y'all chiming in right now. I don't hear y'all. Y'all are quick to say y'all think it's a conspiracy and she was framed. What about the drinking? For the people that were defending Karen Reed in here, I'm waiting for y'all. Where's y'all's reply to that? They're all guilty of DUI. I agree on that. Right? I agree on that. But where's the people that were chiming in for Karen Reed at? I'm waiting for y'all's reply. I'm patient. Can we agree that she was intoxicated? You're the link. Well, they had a lot to say about Karen Reed being framed and innocent until we got to the DUI part. Exactly. You're entitled to it. You are so right. I mean, we can agree on that she was drinking and driving, right? Can we at least agree on that? The whole damn town was drunk. You agree 100. Okay. At least we can agree on something today, that this woman was drinking and driving. So to say she's innocent, it's not true. She's at least guilty of the drinking and driving. All right. Now, the murder of John O'Keefe. Now, listen, I believe it's manslaughter. If I was going to kill you, I ain't going back to look. Or some people believe that she was trying to make it look like an accident. I don't know. It's a hard sell. I give you turtle people that. All right. The other turtle team. I give you that. It's a little bit of a hard sell to say she did it purposely. Truly, it's more manslaughter than second-degree murder. But I do believe that they will get the conviction. Blackout drunk driving. Yes, it's bad. She told Jennifer McCabe she don't even remember going to the bar. Yeah, she was drunk. They all were drunk. And they are law. They should know better. I agree. And when y'all people say the police are corrupt up there, I do agree they're corrupt to a certain point. You know, they're drinking and driving and they're arresting other people for drinking and driving. That's corruption. But are they corrupt enough to kill somebody and throw them in the front yard? I would say I don't think so. She was definitely drinking. So I'm glad we can agree on some things. We're going to see how this plays out. It's starting to move a little bit quicker. So hopefully this wraps up soon. We find out the fate of Karen Reed. We got a lot of stuff going on, man. We got a lot. CrimeCon, we're gearing up to leave. I'm packing a trailer and everything. I'm going to take a nap first, and then I'm getting up. I'm packing up everything. We'll be down in Tennessee at CrimeCon Friday night. If you guys want to meet Dolly, come on through. It's expensive, but we're also doing a meet and greet or a meet and eat Saturday. All right. You can come out and meet Dolly. Hit me up in my Facebook group Saturday morning if you would like to attend, so I can send you the address of where we're going to be at. We're keeping that a little bit secret because we don't want haters and crazy people showing up. Not like that. We're trying to enjoy our time in Nashville. And it looks like we may end up doing some searching for another kid while we're down there. There's a kid missing. Well, not a kid. I just called a man a kid. He's 35 years old. Okay. I'm calling kids, babies, and men kids. That something's wrong here. Okay. Something's wrong. He's definitely not a baby. But he's 35. And there's the nonverbal boy, 16 years old, out of Florida. We'll probably come back later, have a little more detail on that. Okay. And I think me and PJ will be streaming some of our trip. So you'll get to see some of that live. Like I said, there's a lot of things about to pop off as far as the Delphi, the Dorman, Chad Dorman. We're going to be covering that. So we got a lot of things. And as we're covering these things, there's still things popping up. I am going to be back in Boston, guys. So all you Boston people, I'll see you guys soon. I ain't forgot about y'all. And y'all think I'm playing about the Kool-Aid stand? I definitely ain't playing. All right. And when she's convicted, come by and hang out with me. Listen, we just got a difference opinion. I don't hate you people. I want to make that clear. I don't hate them people. I just have a different opinion than you guys. But let's see who's right. And then y'all can come up and say, damn, Dolly, you good. And then you can look at these other channels that were full of shit that jumped on the bandwagon and you can unsub, right? Be like, I got on the wrong wagon. It happens. Listen, you showed up at the wrong bus stop. You got on the wrong train. But we'll get you back on track. We'll get you back on track. One cup of my Kool-Aid, it'll wash the, listen, I'll even bring some soap with me. Wash the colt away soap, okay? Colt be gone. That's what we're going to call it. Colt be gone. It will be on the store. I will have some bars with me when I come to Boston. Colt be gone soap. It will wash Turtle Boy right off of you. Okay, you get in the shower, but Turtle Boy be gone. You'll be like, fuck Karen Reed. One bath. Okay. Be looking for it on the merch store. Colt be gone. All right. It'll wash all that brainwashing you've been done right out your head. Okay. You can wash your hair with it. Okay. Hey, listen, I'm getting out of here, guys. Y'all be great. It was super awesome hanging out with you today and watching this boring ass court case. Not really. Okay. I had more fun walking at the yachts this morning, but it was cool hanging out with y'all, going over this boring ass court case. You're welcome, PJ. Okay. PJ wanted me to do it. I wanted to sleep. Honestly, I was like, I'm going to go take a nap. She's like, go cover the Karen Reed case. I was like, all right, I got you. I got you. So you guys stay beautiful. If you haven't liked the video, I really don't care if you comment or not on this whack shit. But I will see y'all later, hopefully. Okay. Be good. Until then, peace.